Hello and welcome to the Labour Social on Labour Social. Tonight I'm joined by Rachel Reese and Scott and Bowler Hatman. Ollie, how you all doing? How is everyone this evening? Oh no, Scott, your internet has fallen at the first hurdle, mate.
God damn it! I don't know what to do. I have a
Okay, well you tinker with your internet. Get your big spanner out and give it a knock. Right, so we're celebrating because the Tories just got their asses handed to them in Wellingborough and Kingswood, and Scott's run away. I think he's seen a Tory. He's got to chase after him. But yes,
let's go get my spanner.
Oh, good. Get your spanner. Sort out your internet, mate. But yeah, did anyone stay up? Did anyone stay up till 4 a.m. for the results?
No, I forgot.
Oh, okay. No. I didn't forget.
Not for two by-elections.
I just thought it's a bit of a foregone conclusion. By-election, foregone conclusion. Thankfully. We've what's this? We've got a few things to talk about tonight. We've got the Tories facing electoral annihilation, which is the title of the video. We've also got to talk about Alexei Navalny, who has died in custody in the gulag he was in Siberia in Russia. This guy was the main opposition leader against Vladimir Putin, and it's heartbreaking. It's absolutely heartbreaking. And a part of me is kind of angry with him for going back to Russia when Putin tried to kill him the first time with some Novichok. That this is what he this is what he signed up to, and it's dreadful. And considering Tucker Carlson, as Ollie and I talked about at length on Tuesday night, Tucker Carlson, I mean, he must have his head down tonight, I assume. Oh. I don't know.
No, maybe he does not have his head down. Have you seen the video that came out today?
Oh, no. Is he blaming Biden?
He is something else. He actually said, well, leaders kill people. All leaders kill people. That's what it is.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
Oh my God.
He seems to think that leaders can just murder people at any given time, and that's what they do.
It's just
that's why he couldn't be a leader. Then he actually said that I couldn't do it.
Wow.
Oh my God. Oh my
God.
Because it's on Twitter X, whatever the fuck.
Well, talking of presidents, former President Donald J. Trump, disgraced former president, has just been fined over $350 million in the court in New York. Ka-ching!
Which one's this? What's for this? Which indictment is this one for?
This one is to do with, this is a civil case that was brought against him, against his company, Trump Holdings or whatever it's called, for the crime of being a gobshite. No, that as well, but the crime of lying about how much money he had. Oh, Wayne's turned up. Hello, Wayne.
Oh, he lied to the government. He committed tax fraud, right?
Well, he said that his property was worth £2.50 to the government, so he didn't have to pay tax. And at the same time, he said to the banks, my property is all worth $1 million squillion, and so give me a loan based on the value of my property
so
that I've just made up and pulled out my arse.
Who does he have to pay that to?
Pardon?
Who is he paying that to?
Who's he paying the $350 million? I guess the state of New York. Yeah, I think he should pay it to all the veterans that he's insulted.
Well, yeah, that's a good idea. But that's on top of the 85 or 86 million he owes that woman that he
Eugene Cavill.
Yeah. So how much is that now?
It's well over 4/10 of
billion
dollars. 40% of $1 billion.
I'll be all right. I'll pull out some more Trump NFTs. That'll cover it.
I know we laugh, but you're right.
As Rambo.
Emergency grift.
No, but Ollie, you're right. He's just going to get his supporters to pay for it, and they will. I mean, Trump's supporters are manic, like proper. Oh, I've got no teeth, and I live in a swamp, but I'm going to give everything I've got to Lord Trump.
Banjo.
You think he will actually?
You got a real pretty mouth. Sorry?
Sorry, Graham.
Don't do the American accent.
You say I've got no teeth and I live in a swamp.
Yeah.
That's all of Liverpool, isn't it?
Oh my god! Typical. This is Wayne, who's a massive West Ham fan.
Run while you can.
His team were beaten 6-0 this week, so he's a little bit grumpy. He
No,
hasn't
not
got out of bed, in fact, all week. He's been so depressed over the fact that West Ham got their asses
Why
handed
haven't
to them
shaved?
by a superior London team called
Scott, are you-
Tottenham
Scott,
or Arse Tottenham. I don't know,
Sorry.
something like that. What?
Scott's giving me grooming tips right now.
I'm a barber. What do you want from me? It's the one thing I know how to give.
Then fucking shave me, you prick.
Oh, well, I'll come down there. I'll shave whatever you want.
Right. Anyway, this is turned into the Labour Social, sponsored by Grindr.
Sponsored by Phil.
Sponsored by filth.
But
yeah, so but yeah, I think that Trump is just got to get all his fans to pay to pay this money.
That's a lot of money though to come up with. You really think all of them will be able to come up with that amount of money?
Well, look at it this way. He got 70 million people to vote for him in the last election, didn't he? Or
So they all give
thereabouts.
$1.
They all chip in $5. That'll cover it.
Hmm.
And they would do because they're crazy, like proper batshit. Like, have you spoken to many, Scott? You must have some friends or relatives in the state who are Trump fanatics.
No, I do not. How dare you?
Have you not? Have you just dropped the ball?
It's like you're saying, oh, you must have some friends that are Tories. No.
You must know someone. Come on, you must have like a racist uncle or there must be someone in your extended family.
No, if they are, I don't know about it. And like, because I'm not in touch with a lot of my family over in the States anyway. So if any of them are Trumpers, I don't know. But none of my friends are. The ones I grew up with, absolutely not. No,
good.
Absolutely not. Not,
well.
no.
And
if they were, I unfortunately wouldn't consider them to be I had one. A girl I grew up with, and we kept it very civil. And she used to love bringing up shit like Benghazi and things like that.
Benghazi!
A bingo card with Benghazi on it.
Yeah. Just the Republican bingo card, you know. And
I do feel we need to make that a sound drop now for
Benghazi! And then have it come up on the screen.
100%.
And I wrote, well, when the insurrection happened, I think I wrote on my Facebook something like, well, here he is. Donald Trump is obviously an insurrectionist and unpatriotic and tried to kill democracy. Something like that. She blocked me. That was
I got totally blocked.
Can I just say, like, before 2016, when anyone said insurrection to me, I just thought of that really bad Star Trek film.
Yes.
Hello, Jean-Luc.
Rachel's got something to say. You think that insurrection's all right, don't you, Rachel?
I don't mind it. Yeah,
you don't mind it. It's bloody awful.
He nearly killed Tom Hardy, but I think I don't know. It was, I missed you, Jean-Luc. I kind of like the voice in that. I thought it was good.
Here we go.
It was a bit silly. Oh my God. Everyone, sorry to interrupt, but we have just had an absolutely huge super chat from Johnny Copperhead. £100 on top of the £100 that Johnny dropped in on Morning Brew this morning. £100 super chat. Thank you so much, Johnny. We're going to try and keep going until that, because the more you give, the longer it takes to come off the screen. So we're going to keep going till the £100 paid for. Thank you so much, Johnny. That's really, really kind, really generous of you. Thank you.
Thank you.
Look what I found down the back of the sofa. Oh my God, you have a magic sofa. Yeah. Also, don't you think Rishi Sunak is the spit of Roland's rat?
Yeah.
Did you see the photo opportunity this morning that went very wrong?
Oh, where he came on and started dancing.
Yeah.
Happy Toast on Twitter put the music from Strictly Come Dancing onto it.
Was that when he took that photograph?
Sorry, he was trying to do a photograph and he like ran in and he swung the guy around and then he's like It's like, oh my god.
The fact that we all know who Roland Ray is kind of ages.
I don't know who Roland Rat
No,
is.
Ollie doesn't.
Oh,
No,
Ollie's
generational
just a wee
warning.
baby. He's just a wee babby.
Right, let's generation ourselves. I'm OG boomer. Not boomer. Sorry.
Boomer.
No, I'm
Boomer?
OG.
He doesn't even know what generation he is.
1981 baby, which means
You're Gen X.
no.
No,
I'm
millennial.
Gen X.
Millennial. I'm also a millennial, but I'm 79 because I am millennial prime. I invented it. Everyone else just following me. I don't have a proper job. I'm in my 40s. I'm squatting on my girlfriend's couch.
And your house does not look like what's behind you.
No, it definitely doesn't look like this. Don't own a house in this country. Don't own a car, and no prospects, and I can't retire till I'm 71. Yes, millennials. But I'm very well travelled, so that's okay.
Yeah.
I sort of did my bucket list early.
Yeah, I won't tell you when I was born.
So
Was it yesterday, or was that just the Tories or the people who vote for them? Hey, you're a millennial though, aren't you, Bowler Hat Man?
I was born in '89.
Oh my
Yeah,
God.
you're a millennial.
Yeah.
You're a millennial. That's all right.
No, it's
That's all right.
fine. That's the year I
do we
graduated.
have any Gen Xers here?
Rachel.
Sorry?
Rachel's
Gen
Gen
X.
X.
Gen X.
So I do own my house and I do have a pension. I apologize. I'm one of those,
See?
but
Bastards.
yeah,
And
Pensions. What are they?
And you're pre-81.
I was 67. I was born.
Oh, yeah.
I know.
You-
Yeah, the
you're
Beatles
nearly
were
a-
still touring. I played guitar. I played backup guitar, It was a roadie.
Do you know my dad taught John Lennon how to play the guitar? No, I'm just making that up. But because I'm from Liverpool, people believe it. It's
that
brilliant.
shit, yeah.
People believe any old shit.
My dad grew up in Liverpool, right?
Yeah.
When he moved to America in the 70s, he had long black hair and a big black beard. So he's walking through a supermarket and people started following him because they opened his mouth and people thought he was George Harrison. And,
Brilliant.
And apparently the story goes that they brought the car around to pick them up and put all the groceries in the car and that. And apparently my aunt just screamed out, "Come on, George!" And people swapped the car and actually started banging on the car.
Love it.
Brilliant.
Graham, as a Liverpudlian, you must have the same thing. Everyone's parent went to school with someone famous from Liverpool.
Yes.
Because I have the same thing in Basildon, right? Because I literally lived next door to Dave Garn of Depeche Mode. True fact.
Wow.
Right? But everyone who grew up, every Gen X in Basildon went to school with Alison Moyet or knew Dave Garn from Depeche Mode.
I have a Dave Garn connection.
Oh, hello.
I worked with his son.
Phil.
What was his fucking name? Jack.
When I lived on the Isle of Dogs, everybody
with his
knew Ronnie and Reggie. Cray.
There you go. Yeah,
Everyone's a gangster. No, I grew up in Knotty Ash in Liverpool. I grew up in the parish of Knotty Ash, although it was the constituency of West Derby. But down the road from Ken Dodd and the Diddy Men. Rachel might appreciate this joke. Two new Diddy men, Diddy Pay and Diddy L. He got done for tax evasion. It's a very old joke, and you wouldn't get it unless you were there at the time. But
truth to the story about him. Like,
Michael Benton
Straight over my head.
after his passing, that people went into his house and found like £1 million under his bed.
Found what under his bed? £1 million.
£1 million. Is that just like an urban?
That's got to be an urban myth. Although seriously, we went to his house when he had his funeral because they had the hearse come to the house and then they went off for the ceremony. And because it was just down the road, I went down with my dad. It was just before my dad's dementia, before he got to the point where he couldn't leave the house anymore, and he was walking along with me. And it was really weird because at that point he couldn't really talk properly. my dad, and he found it difficult to walk, so he walked quite slowly down the road. And then when he got there, he saw an old mate of his who he hadn't seen in probably about 20 years or something, and he just walked straight over to him. Part of his brain completely remembered this old mate of his, and he just started talking to him, but he had no idea who he was. Obviously, his mate recognised him. But yeah, it's just weird the way your mind goes at that age, if you get... cancer or dementia, what would you like? Take your pick. And you're not retiring till you're 87 anyway, so someone mentioned this about, I think I was watching The Troll with Marina and Gemma, and they were saying that the average life expectancy in Glasgow is 72, and they want to put the pension age up to 71.
Oh, good.
Nice. Before we go on, we've got a couple of super chats. Thank you very much to Captain Bart Roberts.
Jez Hunt's just put in the chat, I've just discovered that I'm in an episode of Dad's Army.
Do you think
you are
kidding, Mr.
Captain Bart Roberts, thank you very much for the super chat. Damn, is he angling for an appearance on Strictly before fucking off to Cali? It's talking about Rishi Sunak there. Oh my God, I would not like to see Rishi Sunak on Strictly Come Dancing. The man has no personality at all. Do you know what I mean? There's just nothing there.
Honestly, the general election campaign, there's going to be probably just so many gaffes.
He doesn't know how to talk like a normal person or anything, does he? Anyway, Sarah Davis, another super chat. Thank you very much, Sarah, for the super chat there. Brilliant. Captain Bart Roberts is saying Ken Dodd was inspired lunacy. He was quite funny. My favourite Ken Dodd joke, save the whale, keep the head for the cat. I guess my comedy timing's not what it used to be. So anyway, what do you want to dive into? Do you want to talk about the by-election? Do you want to talk about Navalny? Do you want to talk about Trump getting a $350 million fine?
Before we do that, can I have a little bit of self-indulgence, please?
Well, that makes a change. Go on. Turn your mic up a bit. We can't hear you properly. Speak louder, sir. Speak up, caller. You're through.
Shut up. It's my daughter Sienna's 9th birthday tomorrow. I would really like for you all to say happy birthday to her, because I can clip this and send it to her, and she'll think I'm the best dad ever.
Okay, so we're all going to sing happy birthday at once. Yeah. Should we do that?
Yeah.
Okay, we'll get done for copyright here, but let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Sienna.
Forgot the name.
Happy birthday to you. Ba-ba-da-bum. There you go.
Many more. Thousands more. You'll live to 200. You young.
2,000. It was going to be thousands more.
Still comes up with a whole cabaret. Happy birthday,
tell her that all the best people have their birthdays in February.
Yes.
That's right. Josh can't be here tonight. He's having his birthday. And I'm having my birthday at the end of the month. Not quite the end of the month. It's normally the end of the month, but it's a leap year, so it's the second last day of the month this year. It is a leap year. We get an extra day. And then June comes out on the 29th. Well, on the night of the 29th at midnight. So I'm probably going to go see that. The new June film.
Oh, I thought you said June.
Yeah, June. The film, June.
Yeah, June 2. Dune 2.
Yeah. Dune
2.
More is it June or Dune?
Dune 2.
We spell June with a J.
June. Like June came out in June.
Or if you're Scottish, it's Dune. Dune.
How does someone from Scotland say that the TV show Countdown?
Dune.
That great. You just got us demonetized, Ollie. Thanks a bunch. Oh, I don't know. Anyway, but yeah, June. It looks really good. And did anyone see what's her name? Zendaya dressed as C-3PO.
Yes.
And or the robot from Metropolis. It was so good. That there's a million memes going around right now. My favorite was the one with Luke Skywalker dipping him into an oil bath.
Zendaya really looks like Sienna. Really looks like
really?
Sienna.
Oh, wow. Oh, she'll go far.
Mm.
But yeah,
Spider-Man Far From Home the other day, and
Yeah.
I was like, she looks exactly like you, darling. What's going on?
Oh, bless.
And she was
How
like,
did
she was
how
like,
did
yeah.
she how did she get on? Wasn't she at an event at the O2? That was a few weeks ago.
She did Young Voices. It's like a massive choir thing, like just all schools from the
Oh wow.
area. And she was like absolutely bouncing up in, and but I don't know why, but her school always gets like a box at club level at the O2. Like
Yeah.
the 2 years they've done it, they always get a box. All the other schools are just like just riff-raff in the aisles and
We're
stuff.
riff-raff. Wayne, are you on your phone? Are you like holding your phone, or have you got it in a
Yes.
clamp or something? Would
Yeah,
you mind putting it horizontal rather than vertical?
like that.
Yeah, like that. There you go. Because we go out,
I'm
and
gonna need to
16
set
by
my
9.
laptop up and then do some bridging. So fire
Okay.
me out in a little bit, and then I'll set back up when we're gonna get into the meat of things.
Okay. All right.
What?
Well, thanks, Wayne. See you in a bit.
Intrigue.
What's he gonna do? I like it when Wayne gets his proper setup going. It looks proper official in there.
I know.
It looks like he knows what he's doing.
Boom and everything.
Anyway, let's go on, Wayne. Hurry up and get back to us.
Right.
Yeah, hurry up, fuck off and come back to us. All right. So, and then there were 4. So the Tories were getting high on the old copium this morning. Reminded me of the knight from Monty Python. Who didn't believe that he was beaten, and he was like, "It's just a flesh wound."
Oh yeah. Hobbling on one leg with no arms. Yeah.
You're like, your arms off. Very true. But yeah, it's Rees Mogg was on the TV saying, "Well, it's not like they got over 50% of the vote.
No one gets over 50%.
They won. Who cares? They won. I mean, it's just." And there was a clip. This happened on an earlier by-election. There was a clip of the Tories from 1996 when they lost a by-election, and they were saying, "Yeah, but talking to people on the doorsteps, there's no enthusiasm for Tony Blair. There's just no enthusiasm for him." And then they have like the clip from now, and it was like, "There's no enthusiasm for Keir Starmer. There's just no one likes him." Yeah, and it's just like, mate, it's like 30 years, but like nothing's changed. Nothing has changed.
That's conservatism.
Hey,
yeah, it's going to be interesting for Mogg when because obviously, is it Kingswood no longer exists technically at the next general election with the boundary changes. So suddenly he's now got a lot of Labour voters in his constituency, which could make things quite interesting.
In Mogg's constituency. So what's he? Bath South or something? What is he?
He's Somerset and no.
Froome? No.
Yeah.
I can't remember what his constituency is now.
I thought he was Bath. I thought he was a Bath MP.
No, he's from like Dorset.
No, he's not Dorset.
He's Somerset and something.
He's Somerset, yeah.
Yeah.
Somerset, well, it's not the same place.
He gets voted in by all those horrible old hippies that went to Glastonbury and are now just horrible for some reason. I don't know. As they get older,
Well,
they get more horrible.
I mean, that pollster from Glasgow was saying that no seat was safe now today. And I was like, "Ooh, Taliban in Liz Truss's constituency feels, because that's the one. I mean, obviously going to party like it's 1999. If Liz loses her seat, it's going to be good."
Yeah. So many people you just want gone, honestly, at the next election.
Yeah.
I've said before, it's like a hit list you want of just people you just want to lose their seats. It's going to be fantastic.
Totally. I've got a flip chart in my office. I'm thinking about taking it into the living room, writing the names on it. The real ones, the ones that I need to go. I mean, they all need to go, but there are the ones. Liz Truss, Mary Kay, kind of boom, boom, boom.
Well, the ones that will be interesting to see lose their seats, because obviously you've then got to think what then becomes the future of the Tory party. Because if people like Miriam Cates lose their seat, if Suella Braverman loses a seat, if Kimmy Badenoch loses a seat,
Yes.
then
Please, Satan.
there's a
Lord
lot
Satan,
of this
come
weird
hear my prayer.
direction that the Tory party's going in. It becomes, well, who takes over? Who is sort of left to then sort of guide the Conservative Party? Because Rishi Sunak, as soon as this general election's over, as people have said, he's off. He's off to California. He ain't sticking around.
Yeah, no, he's out of here. Thank you very much to Emma Price. How was the canvassing, Graham? I'm going out every weekend, and it's very positive. Yeah, I was out with Mary Foy, who's my MP. There she is there. We were going around in Durham here, knocking on doors and just asking people, and literally everyone who answered the door said they were going to vote for Labour. We had to ask whether, like out of 10, how much they'd vote for Labour, and it was always like 9s and 10s. Except for one guy who was a little bit, he's actually a neighbour of mine, and I was a bit worried because he was a bit kind of like, well, I always used to vote for Labour, but now because of the vaccines and the satanic Jewish death cult, blood libel, and he was just going on all this bullshit that he's heard on the internet, and it was just like, so I'm not going to vote for Labour anymore. Because it's been infected by the woke mind virus, and I'm like, yes, we're the one with a mind.
It's virus. A great virus. I love it.
Chatted up by a QAnon. I got chatted up by a QAnon recently.
You got chatted up by a QAnon.
That actually happened.
Wow.
So like
to say,
guy's talking to me, he's chatting to me, and
I know, Scott, your internet's gone terrible again. You're breaking up.
Leave us then. You're breaking up.
Scott, how about you get like cards like in Love Actually and just hold up the cards saying
not the Boris Johnson version.
You complete me or whatever it was. Big shout out to Puninator. Thank you very much, Puninator, for the super chat. Looking forward, Jacob Rees-Mogg losing his seat in the general election and going on GBBs to say this is just midterm blues.
Northeast Somerset. My wife's just texted me. That's where he's from.
There you go.
Yeah,
Bath, Somerset, 8 around there somewhere. But yeah, he's looked it up. Northeast Somerset is officially haunted pencil's seat, but there's no such thing as a Tory seat anymore. None of them are safe Tory seats. Sorry, there's no such thing as a safe Tory seat. They're stuffed.
We are the popular Conservatives.
Well, that was the other thing that came out this morning, wasn't it? Tory HQ's been like, well, look, a lot of people suddenly want to leave their seats, so we're trying to have a managed retreat. Because we just don't want to announce all these by-elections at once.
Yeah. One at a time! Like they're all coming for the life post. No, slow down! One at a time! I mean, this is fantastic news again. Rochdale's going to be interesting because there's no Labour candidate now. There's no Green candidate because they got dropped because of comments.
He did a racism.
He did a racism that came to light on some messages he put on Twitter, I think, a few years earlier.
What did he say? Well, don't say exactly what he said, but what happened?
Do you know, Ollie?
He said something, about, shall we say, the Muslim community, which we will get demonetized for on YouTube.
Right. I thought the Green Party were the alternative to Labour, the purer than pure, the wonderful environmentalists who are all just so morally correct. Keir Starmer, we're not going to vote for him. We're going to vote Green, and Green's going to win.
I try and make a policy of not slagging off other progressive parties, but I have to say that the Greens' mentality of going after Labour rather than the Tories does disturb me somewhat. Can I say that? Like, why are they going after? Why are they going after Keir Starmer and Labour so vociferously? Can't say it viciously. So we say viciously; it's nearly the same word. Why are they going after Starmer? Like personal insults towards Starmer. Trotting out that old Tory lie of like, you can't trust him.
But it's like, it works with the Corbynites.
Yeah, but it's like the SNP when Ian Blackford was leading, he didn't really, because it would be Prime Minister's question time. Ian Blackford would kind of do. I used to look forward to his speeches when Boris was Prime Minister because Ian Blackford would put the boot in. So you get Keir and then you get Ian Blackford, and he didn't really turn on Labour too much And so he'd direct his energy at the Tories as well. But now, there's a bit of a direction towards Labour because the election's approaching and the SNP have been, Steve Flynn takes a pot shot at Labour and the Tories. And I think you should just hold off.
Question time yesterday.
No. Did you watch it?
Yes, I did. And they had an SNP minister on there who was really coming for the Labour candidate, lady. And it was a bit like, okay, well, I thought you were supposed to be all progressive as well, but all right, mind you, the whole program last night was a Labour hit job. I've never seen anything so biased. And I don't ever call the BBC biased because I think if I call the BBC biased, someone else says that it wasn't unbiased, and the other way around, that means it probably was quite impartial. But yesterday, it was like Fiona Bruce is quizzing this shadow minister, Labour shadow minister, and it was like, Fiona, she can't control what comes out of someone's mouth. So what are you going to do about them people saying something like this again? What are you going to do about it? What are you going to do about people saying something like this again? Does Keir Starmer need to run around and put tape on all the mouths of the Labour Party candidates from all over the country in case they fuck up and say something stupid? It was a little bit much, and then the audience really attacked her for it as well. And there was a woman in the middle of the show who turned around and says, well, I just don't appreciate that every time we say something about Israel, that it's anti-Semitic. And Fiona Bruce is like, you mean the Israeli government or Israel? And she's like, both. And like, no one says anything to her. And it's like, okay. Okay. And a Tory mayor a Tory mayor was suspended for anti-Semitism. Where's that? That wasn't brought up at all yesterday on Question Time, even though that was the story that came out yesterday.
Sorry, Rachel, I'll just come to you in a second, but bang, super chat, thank you very much to Sarah S. Get rid of the anti-trans Tories. We're working on it. Sorry, Rachel, what were you going to say?
No, I just saying like Scott, I watched Question Time last night, but I watched it on catch up, so I don't watch it live. So I wound through the whole question on Labour because I knew it was going to be that, so I could get to the bits that weren't about that. It's a bit like watching Prime Minister's questions. I always fast forward through Rishi's answers because it's pointless. So I just listened to Keir's questions, fast forward for Rishi because it's delivering record amounts, transphobia. So you just whistle, you whistle through those bits and listen. And the Question Time last night, the first question was on Labour and they gave 20 minutes to it. So I fast forwarded to the rest of the programme and listened to the audience then sort of giggle when the Conservative MP was talking and stuff, which I do like because the audience is heavily Tory and they have kind of tired of the government and the rubbish, and they were chuckling at him when he was saying we're turning a corner, all the usual stuff that
we're turning the corner on the economy and all
that.
I was just like, oh come on,
16 years, mate.
We're in a recession.
He's like a cab driver. I mean, he's in the next row. It's a white cab. It's coming. It's just around the corner. Yeah, really. For 16 years, I've been waiting for this cab.
It was very nice. He kept saying, Fiona. The question was, I thought wasn't the economy supposed to grow? And he goes, well, blah, blah, blah. And it's like, no, that's not the answer. As it grown, and and they're all, well, and the crowd just laughing at him because he's not answered. And he knows the answer. And eventually he has to go, okay, we haven't grown it.
Yeah.
It's like,
Well, I had a little bit of an adventure on Monday. I was supposed to be on the GBB's show, grilling Rishi Sunak, and I was so pissed off about not getting on because, like, I had it in my head. My question that I submitted was like, why haven't you made the most of opportunities of Brexit, right? And I put that in, and I said that I voted Conservative. I said that I voted for Brexit, and I said that I didn't know whom I was going to vote for in the upcoming election because I knew that's what they would be looking for. This is Salvation, who are trying to, who put all this together for GB News. They were the group that did these dodgy polls for like Nigel Farage in the run up to the run up to the Brexit fraud referendum. So I knew what I was dealing with. I've got no people up here in the Northeast who applied to go on it who were truthful and said they voted for Labour or they voted for the Lib Dems or the Greens or whoever, and they hate the Tories and they're definitely not going to vote for them in the next election. And they didn't get selected. And not only was I selected, I was asked to ask a question, my question, and they sent me it, what I had sent them, and said, you have to, don't ask a different question, you have to ask this question. And I was thinking, great, I'll stand up, and as soon as I've got hold of the mic, I will ask what I really want to ask, is why is the economy absolutely fucked? And I was going to go off on one about all the things that aren't working in the country at the moment. I had a big list of them in my head. Like, I rehearsed it. And the last minute, I was getting ready to go, because I had to get the train to Darlington, where it's being filmed. And I just got an email saying, do not come. You have been uninvited. I was like, oh, shit.
But then someone did actually ask a very similar question.
What about the economy?
About Brexit.
Yeah, I wasn't going to ask that. that was just the question that I said I was going to ask in order to get on.
Well, someone actually asked it.
They obviously looked me up online and were like, shit.
You see, the thing is, Graham, you weren't a vaccine-injured conspiracy theorist. That's what you really needed to be.
That guy who turned up and he was like, look into my eyes. And it's like,
what?
Okay, your eyes tell me absolutely nothing other than you might be on cocaine. I don't know. But, like, he was like, look into my eyes. And I'm like, what am I supposed to be seeing here? He wasn't in a wheelchair. He wasn't coughing his lungs up. He didn't come in with a drip. I mean, what was I supposed to see?
He had heart difficulties, Graham. He had heart difficulties. It's an invisible illness. Did you not see his big Twitter thread after?
No, I didn't.
Email me the link, because I'm not doing this on my phone anymore.
Oh, okay. All right. Sorry, I didn't know you needed me to do that.
I messaged you, Graham, but none of it came through.
And he called you a very rude word.
Very
rude.
No,
Wayne. Email me the link, you Toffee C unit. That's not very nice. God, typical West Ham fan.
It was funny. It made me laugh. I saw that laugh.
I'll be there in a minute.
Okay. Go, Wayne, go.
And Josh wants to come in and maybe for 10 minutes off the street. He's the roving reporter.
Who wants to come in off the street?
Live outside Records in Basildon.
All right. Don't use that word.
Oh, Josh says he might come on for 10 minutes. He may or may not be outside of KFC. So it's Josh's birthday. So if he comes on, I'll have to sing happy birthday to him. But he might be a little bit, he might be a bit wrecked. He's been out drinking, which is pretty cool. Look on the bright side, you'll still be in the shower. What? Anyway, so sorry, what were we talking about? I've completely lost the thread of this conversation. Oh, we're talking about Monday. So I got bumped, which has happened to me before, usually it's for something a little bit better. But yeah, I have put in a, what's it called? A freedom of information request, whatever it's called. Special access request, something like that. Subject action request. Oh, Wayne's back. Here we go. Wayne, come in. Is he? Scott's gone, and Wayne's.
Yeah.
I'm here. I'm putting on another record.
Oh, cool. Okay, I didn't even know we had music on.
When I do this.
Oh wow. Oh. Right. Oh, there you go. Wayne's properly in the chat. Look at that in the studio. Wayne's got quite a cool little home studio set up there, hasn't he? Oh, Tinkanator, you beauty. Thank you very much for the £10 super chat. Despite some notable game, Reform are actually getting much less vote share than UKIP did back in 2015. While trouble for the Tories, they aren't cutting through to the mainstream, for now at least. Yeah, because they're not picking up votes from people who wanted Brexit necessarily. They're just picking up votes from lunatics who think that Brexit isn't Brexity enough.
Yep.
I'm not poor enough. I've got my cardboard box living in a swamp, but I don't want a cardboard box.
Enough for some votes for these voters.
It's just painful, isn't it? Vendetta says next time don't give your real name.
You do.
Show. You got to meet the Prime Minister. You've got to give proper
You have to.
But what I should have done is not use my real name on this, like on Labour Social or any of the anti-Brexit stuff that I did over the years. I should have had a nom de guerre and like Maximilian.
You could have just followed Nick, one of Grant Shapps' names.
Yeah, I could have been Conan Stockheath. I look like a Conan.
If Graham turned up saying, yes, my name is Ivana Hug and Kiss, I'm pretty sure he would.
Drag queen.
I'm not sure he'd get through the vetting process.
Ivana Hug and Kiss.
Oh,
just tackled by the police.
He's the next contestant next year on RuPaul's Drag Race.
Countdown to Power in the chat is saying the GB News thing was pathetic. I can't wait to see the little Rishi on the campaign trail.
It was so badly produced.
Oh God, yeah, really,
like,
really
amateur
low.
hour.
Right.
Yeah.
On a serious one, do you think Talk TV is gonna like fall on its sword and just go, yeah, do you know what?
Gone, it's over.
Yeah, so they've got James Whale, who's basically
oh my God, yeah.
And that co-host of his, Ash, what a cucked little man he is. I have never seen someone so he goes, shut up,
Yeah.
all the time to him, like, and he looks directly down the camera like, I don't know what I'm doing here.
You watch it more than I do, mate. I didn't even know this.
Yeah, it's awful.
Oh, trust me, it's hilarious. It's like that is the best thing to watch. Watching Ash get cut so many times by James Whale.
Who's Ash? Who is Ash?
He's a sidekick. He's like the bully the guy behind the bully in the playground.
Yeah. He's like, you better watch out.
Piers Morgan's show.
Yeah.
On James Wales' show.
James Wales. Yeah. Is he like some kind of like shock jock or something? Is he a horrible?
He was back in the 90s, yes.
Yeah, he used to have a late night show on Friday night, Friday night with James Whale. He'd come in from the pub, bit of MTV, and James Whale would be on. But I thought he was dead. I saw him on Talk TV.
Yeah, no, I thought he was dead too. Yeah.
He will be one day. It is the beauty of mortality.
I'm not
all those people that you don't like.
Yeah, but the thing is, James Wells actually won a CBE. And yeah.
Talking of taking people out, we were talking a little bit about Navalny earlier. Someone quoted some Roman philosopher, I guess, who said to Nero, or maybe a senator, who said to Nero, "You can't assassinate your successor." I thought that's good. I like that. So yeah, someone out there is going to take Putin's job one day, and Putin.
We don't know who yet.
We don't know who.
We don't know who.
The unfortunate
Someone
thing,
will.
I think, is though that someone's going to have to take him out.
Sorry, Scott. Say that again.
I think someone's going to have to take Putin out.
Yeah,
I don't think
for
he's
dinner.
Ever going to go quietly. He's
for a dance, for a little dance.
No.
Yes,
Yeah, it'll be next to the window.
To Scott's point, I think that's got to be someone with a bigger ego and a bigger ulterior motive and a lot of power behind him. Because let's face it, Putin's on the wane, and you had who was your man from that little splinter group?
The Wagner group.
Yeah.
Prigozhin.
Yeah.
Prigozhin.
Yeah, and all of a sudden his plane blew up.
Yeah.
Shocker.
How's that?
No, he was thrown out of a window. He was thrown out of a window at 28,000 feet.
Was it about? Was it a 737?
We got a Josh. We got an out of focus Josh on his side. Oh no, he's disappeared.
No.
Josh, come back. There he is. Hello.
Hey.
Happy birthday. Happy birthday, Josh.
Thanks, man. How you doing? How you doing?
Another year older and deeper in
the
debt.
fact you've got a blurred background outside of KFC.
He doesn't want anyone to know where he is.
Yeah, he doesn't want to be geolocated by
that's right. I mean,
by the Tory spies.
I think people know I live in Brighton, so Brighton, Brighton's a small place. Everyone knows everyone in Brighton.
It's a great place. I love
feel
a bit
like
of Brighton.
I've massively intruded on an important conversation that's going on, and I'm really sorry.
No, not at all. It's never that important. It's just us. But what we need to talk about, Josh, because we had this big meeting last night, and no one talked about the big party that we've got to have on the election night. So where's it going to be? Are we going to do it in London? I don't really want to do it in London, but
my ideal is that we do London and somewhere else. London's really obvious because we can get a lot of people there, but actually, politics is so London centric. I think we should be able to do it in multiple places, but it's a logistics thing. And frankly, we have no money, and so we'll do what we can. But
I'm saying London and Birmingham just to celebrate HS2.
No, you
celebrate HS2.
Yeah. One party now.
Come to Barnsley.
But like,
we'll be there in their carriages like this.
If we were to pick one place in the north, where would it be? Like
Liverpool,
Sheffield,
Liverpool, Manchester, Birmingham, Newcastle,
Liverpool. I keep saying Liverpool because it should be Liverpool.
Sheffield.
Come on, where else are you going to have a party where everyone in the city is celebrating the Tories getting their asses handed to them? Liverpool. Yeah, Manchester's got a lot of Tory areas.
So which city is going to be, the most thankful to get rid of the Tories? That's a good question.
Liverpool.
Which city?
Liverpool by a country mile. Liverpool, which voted Remain, has 4 Labour MPs always. Since 1983.
Josh, well done. You fucking triggered fucking Graham.
Just don't talk about Liverpool. That's the rule.
Don't mention the L word.
Rule of Labour Social.
Is that a fucking
don't
gremlin?
talk about Liverpool.
on a serious point, though, like celebration is really important because not only are we gonna finally get rid of the Tories, which is a huge success, but the point is that we're going to be the ones that showed up to do it, right? And like it's a real indication of the feeling in the nation, right? So actually, no, we're fucking done with it. We're going to get these guys out. We're actually going to show up, and we need to celebrate that as well. And it's not a celebration of anything that comes next, because we need to, make sure we get something awesome next, but that we actually took a fucking stand, and that we turned up for change, and that's something to celebrate. Like, yes, the result is important, but like our agency is almost more important,
Hell yeah. We need to celebrate because we're going to see the end of the Tories after 14 terrible years of these bastards in power.
And we're going to do
absolute bedlam. Wayne has something to say. Wayne, don't say Essex. It's Tory Central.
No. Josh, I really want to say that I am intrigued by the fact that you have stolen Pootle from the Flumps hat.
What?
It's cold, man. I'm outside.
Please, anyone who's listening right now, just Google Pootle Flumps, and you'll see Josh in his hat.
This
number
was
3,
a hand knitted hat for me. So
that's nice. Who knitted it?
Oh, my long suffering partner. Yeah.
Oh, I used to have an Aussie girlfriend who knitted stuff for me. Oh.
Awesome.
Anyway, moving on.
And then she left you.
She left me. No, it was mutual. We're still good friends, but unfortunately in different hemispheres. Well, it was slightly to do with the fact that it's very difficult to have a foreign spouse in this country unless you're very rich.
Yeah.
And they don't make it easy for you to go to Australia either.
I love the way Graham crowbars politics into everything.
Because it affects everything. It affects
everything
is
political.
Life. Yeah, everything is political.
Like, and that's a flippant thing to say, right? But can you think of an aspect of your life that isn't or couldn't be affected by politics?
Yeah, my girlfriend left me because I'm a cunt.
I mean, okay. I want to reverse engineer that and ask about the detail, but we don't need to do that on a live stream.
No, it would. Yeah, let's not do that.
We have a Cozy has entered the chat.
And I'll head off so you don't have to rearrange your Zoom.
Cozy has
appeared. Thank you very much, Josh. Happy birthday, Josh. Happy birthday.
Thank you.
Great to see you, mate.
Many happy returns.
Have a good one, mate.
Thanks a lot.
See you in a bit.
So we have Cozy. Hello, Cozy.
Hi, kids.
One door closed and another one opens. It's good, that.
Yeah, there you go. Exactly. One in, one out,
It's almost like we organised this or something, which we don't.
You just have a Graham.
Yeah, thanks. But yeah, Cozy, we were just talking about the Tories being absolutely annihilated in the next election and what we're going to do and the party that we're going to have, which is going to be streamed live on Labour Social and possibly other creators' channels.
I'm worried that it's not going to be like 1997.
Oh, no. What, are you worried that it's going to be even more catastrophic for the Tories?
No.
Oh, I don't say this. All right.
worried
Just
that it'll
hold that thought, Cozy, because Emma Price has just dropped the super chat in. Thank you, Emma. Woo! Number 3, suggesting street parties when the Tories are defeated. That's a great idea as well. Get the trans pride bunting out all along the streets instead of the Union Jack. Right? We have the gay pride, trans pride. Yeah, and rage the gammon, like by calling the train line the suffragette line, and there's some people going, I'm not getting on that line. I'm going to walk 7 miles to work, so I don't have to go on that line that's named after the suffragettes.
You know the beauty of that. The beauty of that would be you're cutting down emissions with your rage. Thanks, mate.
Hello, Tam. How you doing, Tam? You're on mute. You're muted. There you go. Hello.
I wasn't speaking.
Why? You're all out of focus, mate. You're all blurred. Like, what crimes have you been committing? It's like Crime Watch.
19.
Do you recognise this man? The camera doesn't like you, Tam. It just likes Cozy, I'm afraid.
No, it's because I had my background blurred.
Ah, right. Well, we've got someone from Scotland in the chat now. All right, Tam.
I'm good. Yourself?
Yeah. I'm all right. What's the Scottish perspective on it all?
On what? I don't know.
Everything.
I just got out of the shower.
What?
I just got out of the shower. I don't know.
Just got out of the shower.
I've got no idea what you're talking about.
We're talking about the Tories hopefully getting annihilated.
Getting annihilated.
Well, absolutely. Let's hope so.
Can I just say, have we got every demographic covered here in this?
We haven't got any Welsh.
I'm half Welsh.
Oh, okay. My surname's Welsh, so you know.
There you go. We've got a foreigner. We've got a couple of foreigners. Well, a half foreigner.
A half foreigner. Are you only a half foreigner now?
Well, Scott's dual, isn't he? Aren't you?
Oh, so about you?
I've got dual nationality, right?
No, I'm all foreign.
You're all foreign.
Oh yeah.
I'm all foreign. I'm all alien.
Awesome.
Foreign.
Wait, you're British though, aren't you?
Oh yeah, I'm British and brown. I'm covering everything.
Yeah.
I'm not British.
It's all right. You can be an
Yorkshire.
island boy still.
Wait, you're from your family's from Montserrat, aren't they?
Yeah.
So have you been over there? Have you been to Montserrat?
Have you ever? Are you having a laugh? It's like a 10-hour flight. Fuck that.
Oh, I thought you were gonna go. Of course I've been there. You know.
Yeah.
Oh yeah, every other weekend.
But like in your life, have you ever been over there?
No.
Because I've never been to Montserrat, so I would quite like to go. I've sailed past. I've sailed past. Yeah, when I was going from St. Kitts and Nevis over to Antigua, we sailed past Montserrat, and you could see smoke coming from the volcano.
So your book, Every Man, Every Country, is a falsehood.
No, because Montserrat's not a country; it's a British overseas territory.
Yeah, but it's still a country in itself.
So I've told you about my.
Cover the technicalities on this.
I've got the greatest troll in the world. I've told you about my troll.
Yes.
Haven't I?
Well, where did he send you a postcard from?
I've had postcards from Bougainville. Bougainville. That's in Papua New Guinea. They've just voted for independence. That's probably going to go. That I thought that was from Socotra, the island, but apparently it's not somewhere else. Tahiti, not a country, part of French Polynesia. This is a guy who sends me postcards from all the places I didn't go to on the Odyssey expedition.
Wow.
That's Mayotte. So there's 4 islands that make up the Comoros island chains. 3 of them are part of Comoros. Mayotte is French.
Graham, this person, we need to give props to, because this is epic.
This is massive.
Trolling.
Yeah, this is 10 of them. I've got another
trolling.
I've got another 7 somewhere. There's Hawaii. I've got Tristan da Cunha somewhere. I've not been to Hawaii. That's actually somewhere I've been to. That's Tarrafel in Cape Verde. And I spent a week in jail there, so I think that was just taking the piss. That's Namibia. I've been there. The Cook Islands. Didn't go to the Cook Islands. Part of New Zealand. And finally, the best one, the absolute best one, Pitcairn Island, which just says on the back that you can read that. It just says, "Arg." So yeah.
No, but
that's epic trolling.
That's next level trolling.
Yeah.
That's absolute next level trolling.
Definitely.
Yeah. That's up
So
there stealing
for
somebody's
those
partner.
of us who were working all day, there was a by-election today. What was the outcome? I hear
Yes.
good things.
The Tories won. I'm only joking, they lost.
They got their arse. I know that much.
They got their arses handed to them by the Labour candidate, who overturned in Wellingborough an 18,000 vote majority, and they overturned an 11,000 vote majority in Kingswood.
Wow. So this was not Rochdale yet. When is Rochdale?
Rochdale's the 29th.
Yep.
Maybe the only 29th of February by-election of all time. I don't know.
Yeah. God,
So far-
I hope they don't elect George Galloway. God.
Oh God, then he'll be on the TV. He'll be on the telly.
Oh, but do you know what? Like
Making cat noises.
our media will absolutely focus on that, which will probably corrupt people's voting into like putting the X in the George Galloway box because he's popular. Let's
No, but the thing is, I think probably the guy who was running for Labour will probably win. It was a safe Labour seat, and he's only going to be in the post for 3 months because they're going to have an election in May. So, can I just do a few super chats before we press on?
No, carry on.
Puddinator, I say hold it in Richmond (brackets York) to celebrate with Sunak when reality hits him, because that's Sunak's constituency. I like that idea, Puddinator. But it would mean going to York. Another super chat from Emma. Thank you very much, Emma Price. Who says, my husband is half Welsh, so yep, we're covered. Yes.
Yes.
And Wayne, you've got an Irish surname, so that counts for Ireland.
Yeah,
I've got Irish ancestry. Hence the gingerness.
Fun fact, everyone. The West Indian accent is a derivative of the Irish accent. That's why when you hear West Indian people say things like "turty tree" and "a turd," it comes from the Irish because
True.
Yeah.
That's
the
interesting.
indentured servants that went over to the Caribbean.
Plantations.
Yeah. That's basically Irish and African accents all mixed up, and that's where the West Indian accent comes from.
Yeah.
Does the Indian accent come from Welsh? Well, I mean, Indian as when people from India are speaking English.
No, a lot
Has
of
that got like a Welsh.
I listened to a podcast the other day that there's about 200 words that come from the English occupation of India.
Yeah.
And we don't like things like
Pajamas.
pajamas, yeah. Pajamas.
Bungalow.
Yeah, bungalow. Yeah. All of these words came from our occupation of India.
Yeah. I was watching a TikToker talking about how when we get new words invented, he was talking about all the words that were invented by Shakespeare. And then he was talking about the fact that when white people invent new words, then that tends to get incorporated into the dictionary. When black people invent new words, it's like, how dare you invent new words to describe things that need to be described in different ways?
Yeah,
it's
have you ever seen the history of the word monkey wrench?
No. Do I want to? Is this going to be racist and awful?
Little bit.
Oh.
It was invented by a black guy, and then someone white took the credit of it and called it a monkey wrench.
Bloody hell.
Yeah.
Well, we call it an adjustable spanner in this country, so
etymology, everyone.
Etymology. So, well, a lot of words that are like, I mean, vandal comes from the Vandals. Hooligan comes from Ireland, from the Hooligans. Barbarian comes from the Barbary Coast in Africa. The idea was that people from other countries
and Scouse comes from the Norse. Thank you, Graham, for educating me on that.
Norwegians, lobscouse.
Actually, barbarian is even older than the word Barbary Coast. Well, it's the other way around. Barbary Coast comes from barbaroi, which is the Greek word for people who say rabarb. I kid you not.
I thought it meant beard. I thought because Barbados means the bearded ones.
I'm not sure. That might be a chicken and egg thing.
And then barbers and barbershop quartet.
I think
and all that.
Tickety Boo comes from our old colonial past as well. It's everything's hunky dory but it was basically British people speaking to Indian people, and that their response was tickety boo, but it wasn't actually tickety boo, but we kind of interpret it as tickety boo.
Well, yeah, I mean, there's a lot of English. The beauty of the language, the English language, is that it is just a magpie language. It just steals stuff from other languages and just makes up new words all the time. I like that. I like the fact that we don't have an institute like in France who decide what can be a new word and what can't be a new word, what gender it should be. I think English is a bit more organic than that. If we like an idea,
yeah, that's a strange thing, because quite a lot of like Central European countries have masculine and feminine words. It depends whether it's got a vowel at the end or a consonant at the end. Things like that.
Oh, sorry, I've just got to quickly interrupt you there, Wayne, because someone's just dropped a massive super chat in the chat. Thank you very much to Just Me and Videos. Thank you very much. €90 super chat. Have my money. We'll watch as usual and catch up. Off to bed. Thank you so much, Just Me and Vids.
That's lovely.
Another wonderful person who's followed this channel for a very long time before it was even Labour Social.
I've just
really
done a bit of
appreciate it.
research on genderization in different languages, how different. So this is why I was working so late. I was preparing a lesson I have to teach on pronouns. I actually told Rachel about this already earlier today. It's done. My presentation's finished.
Well
Yeah.
played. Well played.
So yeah,
And-
2 hours we're like, I know what I'm doing now. I've just got to get it done.
So we were just talking organically about language and masculine and feminine, and you've just finished a course on it.
Yeah, so
that's serendipity, that.
So there you go. Absolutely. So there are actually completely gender neutral languages. Turkish doesn't have genders at all. But then the Romanic languages, French, Spanish, Portuguese, Italian. Funnily enough, not Romanian. Romanian's slightly different. I'll come to that. But the Romanic languages that are based on Latin, they have a gender binary of male and female. And not only the nouns are gendered and the articles and the pronouns consequently, but also the adjectives. So that's why you've got, you know, when there are endings, obrigado for men, obrigada for women in Portuguese, for example. So depending on what your gender is, you use different words for thank you. But Japanese, for all that Japan is such a quite, you know, there's quite a lot of cultural differences between men and women. It's a gender neutral language. And actually to use pronouns is considered really rude. Like you don't say you do this, you use the person, say, is it Graham? Are you doing this? You know, you don't say you. And you avoid I. It's considered a bit, you know, a bit full of yourself if you say I all the time. So you just
so you kind of speak in the third person.
Well, you don't. That's really rude using the third person. So you really avoid that. You use the person's name. Tagalog doesn't have pronouns at all. So you use the name. And it's clear from the context. So for example, instead of like, whether I say I'm going out or going out, as I'm heading out the door, you'll realize I'm talking about myself.
Well, that's something else that I quite like about English. It's quite forgiving. So if someone says sort of, I go cinema today, you know, people understand what you say, and although you've got, you know, you've got the syntax wrong or the phrasing wrong, it's quite forgiving. Whereas in other languages, especially tonal languages like Chinese, you fuck it up a tiny little bit, people don't know what you're talking about, or will take great offense. Because I believe that the Mandarin Chinese word for mother and the Mandarin Chinese word for horse is exactly the same, except for the way that you say it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
No,
okay.
Wow. That's
a bit tricky, that. No, I was saying your mother looks like a horse. No. I was saying the horse looks like your mother.
Such a good idea. Yeah. So, and did you know Zulu has 14 genders?
Zulu has 14 genders.
Them fucking
and
woke
none of them have
chucking
anything to
wankers.
do with biological sex. They're about whether things are long and sticky or wide and broad and stuff like that.
Zulu has a click, doesn't it? It has a click.
No,
Is it, I know.
That's Swahili.
Xhosa has.
No. Zulu has as well, and
Zulu has
it's shown by an exclamation mark when it's written down.
Yeah.
Richard E. Grant speaks Swahili, and
he does, because he grew up in Eswatini. or Swaziland as it used to be known.
Ah.
True story. Until it went on. Like I love that there's a country called Eswatini. Like there was a Swatini, and then they had like an electronic version of it.
My,
now called the Eswatini.
my great granddad on my mum's side, so my white side, he was in Zimbabwe before the white farmers were hoisted off their land and sent, basically ethnically cleansed from there. And he married a lovely lady, Alice, who was 30 years his junior. And he went from like living in this massive like palatial land with his own farm and all his staff and everything. And then the ruling party said, "No, we're having that." And ended up in a 9th floor tower block in Luton.
Oh my god.
And I was like, so I called him Granddad John. I was like, so you lived in a massive house, had all this land and all these farm animals, and now you're living here. What's that about? And we don't even think about like ethnic cleansing the other way around.
Well, it definitely happened in Zimbabwe under Mugabe. I mean,
yeah,
what he
that's
did
where he
was
was.
absolutely disgraceful.
That's where he was.
And it's a bit of a scary one in
That's
South
all right.
Africa this year because they've got elections coming up in South Africa, and there is a worry that the same thing might happen in South Africa to
Really?
white
Yeah.
farm holders in South Africa if it all kicks off. Because Julius, oh God, what's his name? There's a guy who runs a minority party, and he might end up going in with the ANC depending on the outcome of this coming up election. But like when I was in South Africa, I've been to South Africa a couple of times, and just talking to people from different backgrounds, different ethnicities, and they all seem to say it's not great to have a one-party state, which has effectively been since the mid-90s when the ANC got in. So you've got one party, Nelson Mandela's party, always win the elections because people are voting based on the color of their skin rather than their economic or social outlook.
Yeah, that's dangerous.
The same thing's happening in India where people are voting for Modi because they're Hindu and he's a Hindu nationalist. And he's saying, yeah, we're going to screw over the Muslims and the Christians and the Jains, the what they call the Buddhists and the Zoroastrians and everyone else.
I'd really like to know more about the demographic of India because it has such a diverse culture in the sense of like you've got Muslims, Hindus, Buddhists, and sundry other religions in there.
Yeah,
but they all kind of clash, and it's such a massive country. Like, so how
they didn't used to. I mean, India was set up supposedly as a place where it was secular and different religions could all live together. But it's not going that way. I mean, especially the Sikhs are pushing for their own independent homeland.
Yeah,
help in Punjab.
And we talked about that on Tuesday.
Yeah, we did. And it was kind of like
really okay.
The big schism between what was West Pakistan and East Pakistan, which is now in Bangladesh, was the idea that the majority of India didn't want to have a one religion rule because there was such a multiplicity of religions. Yeah. Sorry, Ollie, what were you saying?
Well, I was going to say we talked about this on Tuesday. And also the other thing we talked about was the violence that is spilling over into especially Canada.
From India.
Yeah, there's a massive
there was a Sikh activist that got killed not too long ago, and again I think we just mentioned it because we were running out of time, but there was another Sikh activist who heard noises in the night, woke up the next morning and found bullet holes in his house. So the violence of that is sort of seeming worryingly spilling over, and it does seem to be being driven by Modi and encouraging the Hindu nationalists in other countries to go after these other minorities in other countries, which again quite worrying on multiple levels.
How much do you think, if any of you know this, how much of this is rooted in colonialism? I know that the British Empire was very good at ensuring.
Divide and rule.
That's what I'm guessing, but I'm wondering about. I know the mechanisms in Cyprus, But I'm wondering whether that's same thing is true in India.
Yeah, they would play different groups off against each other. And they would ensure that, that the local Maharaja was on their side. And they would
East
prop
India
them
Company
up.
did a lot of that.
East India. Because don't forget,
Yeah.
when we talk about the British Empire in India, for most of the history of the British Empire in India, it wasn't the British Empire. It was a private
it was the East India Company.
Yeah.
It was the East India Company. It was shareholders,
and most of it was us losing. It was purely by chance. It was purely by chance that we managed to take India. There's an excellent series called Extra Credits, Extra History. They did an entire series about the Indian sort of colonization, about how the East India Company sort of got there and won, and it was pure chance that everything happened.
The big takeaway, which is mentioned in a lot of literature about British in India, is when the British got to India or took over, got their foothold in India in 1600 under the reign of Queen Elizabeth I. India was one of the richest countries or areas in the world. In the world, it was richer than Europe at the time. And by the time we left in the 40s, it was one of the poorest.
Yeah, because
money went somewhere.
I recently read Empire Land, which is a fantastic. Well, I say read on audiobook, Empire Land, and it's basically like a history of us. I say us as a country going over and just basically doing what we like, introducing our ways of living, and then pushing back on us, and then getting better at the stuff that we invented. So that's why we get slapped at cricket by the Indians, because they're like, "Oh, this is our game now, motherfuckers." Football. We get slapped by everyone at football. It's only like 1966 is our it's West Ham's fucking heyday apparently, but it just goes to show that when these sports were introduced, they were kind of like a proxy to war. So this is your team, this is how you're going to set up, and this is how you're going to beat them. And
it's the same tribalism, isn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, but honestly,
Exactly
guys, I would rather they played a game where nobody dies than actually start killing each other because the leaders tell them
Absolutely.
to.
Yeah, but as I say, it was
Empire Land is
a
a brutal read. He drops some horrific facts in there. I absolutely
Have you read it then all the way?
Yeah, I've read it. I've just got Empire World actually.
I've got that as well in my
I haven't started reading it yet, but Empire Land is it's a fantastic book, and I would really recommend it to anyone who's interested in sort of the history of the empire and its effects, because the author he's not like anti-empire. He's not going out to say, oh, the empire was completely shit, and he is fair about it.
He's looking at it matter of fact.
Yeah,
that's it.
Yeah. Now he's a Sikh guy living in the UK. He grew up in the UK. And he comes at it as like, okay, it had its bad points, it had its good points. Where does it fit on the whole balance of things? I don't know, but here's some of the horrific shit that happened during the Age of Empire, and there's some stuff in there, Wayne, that like I proper have like horrific images in my head of some of the things that it mentions that the British
there's just
did.
so much that went on during the history that just doesn't get taught, doesn't get mentioned up, and you have to sort of look it up and find out, oh, this is what happened. But it's history. It's part of what happened, unfortunately. But we've just got to live with it.
And to bring it to a personal thing, like I say to people, like when they get all het up about, oh, you can't say this, you can't say it because the colonial shit and all. I'm like, mate, I wouldn't be here. Like me, your mate, Wayne, would not be here if it weren't for the colonial background of this country.
Yeah.
What do you mean? I'm like, oh, okay.
There's a great line in Empire Land, isn't there? We are here because you were there.
Yeah.
which gets
100%.
hits the nail on the head. Real Phil in the chat, thank you, Real Phil. If the British didn't create it, did they not heavily exploit the Indian caste system? Generally, don't know if it's Hindus
did.
or affects all faiths. It was absolutely 100% exploited by the
I
British.
was called half caste until 1992.
No. This is slightly different though. The caste system in India is basically depending on the color of your skin to a degree, but also your family. Like who was your family? You grew up in a village, they'll know who your mum and dad were.
Mhm.
And if you were from a family of street sweepers, that would be your job. So your job was defined from the moment that you were born. And the idea being that if you were really good at doing that, when you died, you'll become something better in the next life. So you'll be a restaurant manager or something.
But this is the thing where the lighter your skin, the better you are, the purer you were. But where did that come from?
That's a strange thing that you see, especially in South Asia and Southeast Asia, where there's skin whitening products. So in the UK, everyone wants to get their skin darker. They want to go to tanning salons and get the orange stuff to put on their skin to make themselves look darker. But in Singapore, everyone wants to buy creams that make their skin whiter, and it's I find it quite bizarre, to be honest with you. It's just whatever makes money.
But it shows you how confused we are when it comes to that kind of thing, because like having like a nice tan and that glow of like just walking off like a sun-kissed beach, and look at you, don't you look magnificent? But then you walk off the beach and you're ginger and pale, like people are like, what the fuck is that?
That's why I always keep my t-shirt on, mate. Plus, I always burn in the sun, so.
Sorry, mate. No offense.
No, it's all right. It's all right. Cozy, you're on mute. Cozy, there you go. Were you going to say something about the caste system in India?
Related, not specifically about the caste system, but I do know they also used, and this is a very useful mechanism. They used the existing hierarchical structures, just like Alexander the Great used the satrapies of the ancient Persian Empire. So they used the Raj, the Maharajas, the social structure that was there, and kept the movers and shakers in power, but made them their vassals.
Yeah.
Wow. That sounds very reminiscent of what we've got going on right now in the big powers that be.
Well, yeah. I mean, people want to. Social mobility is something that the people who are very, very privileged find an anathema. Well, isn't that the line though? And I didn't make it up about, despite what Aid says, when you're accustomed to privilege, equality feels like oppression.
Yeah.
And so if you have a social system in which you have people at the top and people. Oh, thank you. Okay, sorry. Look, Empire World has just arrived.
Look at that. Look at. Right.
Thank you.
Graham, we need to plug the author and the release date of that particular book, and then we can get sponsored.
Oh, okay. Well, by Sathan Sangara, this is Empire World. It's very, very good. It's a sequel to Empire Land. Really,
everyone buy it.
It got released a couple of weeks ago, but yeah, it's very good. And the first quote on the back, Wayne, is your mate James O'Brien. This remarkable book shines the brightest of lights into some of the darkest and most misunderstood corners of our shared history. That was for Empire Land.
Graham, that means I have to, by obligation, sign that for you.
No, but did you make that up on behalf of James?
No, I have to sign the book.
Okay. That'll be quite fun. But yeah, Satham Sangara, he actually follows me on Twitter. On Threads. On Threads, he follows me on Threads, which is quite cool. Because I took the piss out of him for going to public school. Yay! I said, "You're on my list," and he was like, "Oh, you seem nice. Follow." But yeah, but though the question was from Real Phil was like, does it affect other groups? Was it something that the Muslims or the Christians or the Buddhists? Yeah. Kind of, they had their own sort of caste systems, which we do in the UK. I know what you're saying about, like, it sounds very similar to what we've got. They have it in the US.
Yeah, I mean, you've got the working class, the middle class, the upper class, the middle upper class, the lower middle.
Well, accent
there. It's not as
I
pronounced.
to your point, what is the working class and the middle class now?
Well, this is it. The middle class in this country has been absolutely eroded, and that for the best part of 40 years. I mean, even, you know, the whatever it was, 13 years of Labour from 97 till 2010 didn't really stop that erosion. It slowed it down a little bit, but it didn't really bring it back. And obviously, we know what's been happening in the last 14 years.
But how do we define working class and middle class now? Because for me, it's kind of like getting like a big, like multicolor of plasticine and just slapping it together. And you go, there you go.
It used to be really obvious.
I mean, the British class system is a funny thing. I really, I put my foot in it massively in my first year at university on that score.
Well played.
Because as far as I'm concerned, we're all working class because we're all working, you know? But you can have multiple, like the German idea of class is totally different. You can be working and nouvelle riche, you can be very rich, but you know, you made your money very recently, or you can be aristocratic, or you can be an academic, or you can be part of the officer class. That's the sort of class ideas and notions I grew up with. And then in my first year at university, we were having a conversation, and I said, well, we're all academics now. We're all at university, so we're academic class. And this girl in my halls of residence was mortally offended. I was born working class. I'll always be working class. And she never spoke to me again.
That social mobility, if you're in university, you're not really working class anymore. Your parents might be, but you're not going to work in a factory after going to university. It's as simple as that.
There's also a working class snobbery. Then, you know, you've gone to university
100%,
and betrayed your
100%.
working class roots and all of that.
But also, so it works both ways. It's kind of like, but I don't think those labels are helpful. There are so many things that people are prejudiced against. So give a few examples: accents, especially the Scouse accent and Birmingham accent, colour of skin,
Yorkshire accent as well,
sexuality, if you're trans, and then you've got people who will be prejudiced against you if you have a black sounding name. So Femi talks about this a lot. They did an experiment where they sent out all these CVs with black sounding names, and they got half as many replies, less than that actually.
There was a lady in the In Limbo project who's a dual Romanian and British national, and she tried applying to jobs with her British nationality and her husband's name, and her Romanian nationality and Romanian passport and Romanian name. And with the Romanian, she barely got any responses, like not even thanks, but no thanks. She just got nothing.
Wow.
And the numbers were, the difference in numbers was phenomenal. I can't remember the exact numbers, but I remember it being really staggering. Like, we expected it to make a difference, but nobody predicted just how big a difference it would make.
I think, sorry, just to jump in, Wayne. Hello. I think that there's a thing about syntax, isn't there? About like how we order descriptive words, like the big red balloon. We wouldn't say the red big balloon, and we just instinctively know it, and we will find it difficult to write it out exactly what it is. But I think that the way the class system works in the UK, I think class is probably not a great word to use. Maybe the caste system in the UK works is I meet someone and I instantly decide whether I think that I am superior to them or inferior to them based on a bunch of different factors, you know, how much they earn, where they were born, their accent, their sexuality, or whatever.
It's that Two Ronnie sketch with John Cleese, isn't it?
Someone just mentioned that in the chat. I looked down on him. But I think that there's something instinctual about it, which is, you know, horrible. And just like...
It's unconscious bias. It's programming.
Yes.
Yeah, of course it is. Of course it is. But we're all guilty of it. We are all guilty of it.
Yeah.
Because like for instance, like if myself and Femi was to go for the same job, right, in some sort of like European law stuff, I guarantee that I would get name recognition over Femi.
Yes, you would. Well, you
100%.
wouldn't get name recognition. Your
No,
name, you would
my-
get a name assumption.
Yes, my name would get me through the door before it would.
And Femi's
Femi.
wouldn't.
Yeah.
Which is
100%. But then I'd turn up and be like, surprise!
Yeah, because you haven't got a clue about European law, whereas Femi actually does. But the funny thing is, so,
Exactly.
I mean, in my work, we are now working towards blind recruitment. So your personal details.
Just a number. Just a number.
Yeah, your personal details are removed from the main part of your application form.
Yeah,
but
the
you
Joseph
talk about
Rowntree
your
Trust does the same thing. So if you apply for a job at the Joseph Rowntree Trust, it's blind applications, and I think that needs to be standard. Because, you know, all these people who go against affirmative action, they say, oh, it needs to be the best person for the job. And someone might just get the job because they're from an ethnic background. And it's like, okay, right, well, can we level the playing field across the board then and just have anonymous stuff? Oh, no, we don't want that because they know they're getting privilege. They know they're getting privileged access. Yeah. So they don't want to give that up. No.
Again.
A couple of times now, you've reminded me, I went to a lecture on Wednesday in the law school at Liverpool John Moores University, and it was very interesting. It was by an emeritus professor who has just published a book called The International Legal Order's Colour Line. And it was all about race discrimination, and the making of international law. So he kind of went through the history of international law, mostly from the Paris Peace Conference after the First World War to more or less the present day. And actually, at the formation of the League of Nations, Japan suggested a clause against race discrimination, but it got voted down by the more northern countries.
Would you look at that?
Well, what a surprise. And then India did something similar a few years later because the Indians were so concerned about their diaspora in South Africa and how they were getting treated. Bearing in mind, this is before the days of apartheid actually being an official policy. And again, it didn't get included, and things gradually changed. And as the countries from the global south joined the UN, that got brought back on the agenda time and again. And there was a lot of whataboutery with, you know, as soon as somebody mentioned racial discrimination, they said, yeah, but what about religious discrimination? So one of the, I don't know if it was a convention or a declaration, but one of them, there was one made on racial discrimination, but they had to make one parallel about all discrimination because you can't just talk about race. And in the 70s, Belgium was very against condemning slavery as a crime against humanity, but they agreed to it later on.
I wonder why.
But I wonder whether the words Congo and Leopold were banging in some Belgian heads. But they didn't. So later on, it was, I can't remember which countries it was now, but it was certain countries that said, well, you know, slavery was a crime against humanity. And it always was. So slavery is a crime against humanity, and it always was. And some countries said, no, we can't have that second bit, that subclause of "and it always was," because of course they're already thinking, if we say sorry, who's going to come asking for reparations? You know,
pay them.
You know,
this
is somebody
pisses me
going to
off about
ask for a transfer
reparations.
of wealth here?
But
yeah, good, fine, do it, because
I
we give money to countries in overseas aid, right? Yes, we goddamn should. We should give more money, and it should be in the form of, did we fuck you over in the past? Yeah, well, we probably owe you some money for that, because all the treasures we've got in our museums and all these great, you know, these amazing buildings that we've got in the UK that were built in the 1800s were all built on the back of slavery and then colonization.
And America.
And
no, that's slavery, isn't it?
Oh,
you're talking about America as a country.
Germany paid reparations to Israel from, you know, for every Jew born in Germany before 1933. In fact, until 1945. And they paid reparations until 2015.
You can't say that. Shh, be quiet.
Yes, she can. Yes, she can.
I can. I'm German.
No, but I'm being ironic.
We can talk about Israel, Wayne. What they're doing in Gaza is absolutely abhorrent, and it's a crime against humanity. Yes. Absolutely, 100%.
I want to gauge Rachel's opinion on
No,
this,
but
because
I had somebody on Twitter today telling me that not a single Palestinian has died in Gaza.
oh, right, okay. Well, then that person needs to be blocked and taken down to the woodshed. but
I
Rachel,
mean, even my
like,
kid is choking here.
I think their bloodline needs to be blocked.
I've
Bloodline needs
noticed
to be blocked.
I've noticed on a lot of like applications and other things online, it says like gender, prefer
Yeah.
not to say.
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
kind of thing. Is that something that's helpful, or is that something that's kind of like
I think the option.
doing?
Well, what I'd like to see is not they shouldn't be asking for gender at all. But if they're going to, then
Yeah.
I'd like to. I don't like a choice. I'd like to have a box that I can put my gender, so I can put
Yeah.
non-binary or gender fluid or man, woman, whatever how I identify, whoever I am. I'd like to be able to state it. But sometimes it can be quite configuring. But actually,
It
people
depends
just want to be
where
able
you
to do it.
ask and for what purpose. So,
Yeah.
are you asking as part of the personal details for an application, or are you asking because you're doing diversity monitoring?
Yeah, the
And that
gender
is
pay
getting
gap in the
split up.
UK has to collect data, but you shouldn't be collecting that as part of the recruitment process. 'cause
And why, when you, so I went for a job last week, and it was the form to, for the job, and then it was another page for the
Diversity monitoring, and it's
diversity
They ripped that
monitoring.
off.
anonymous.
But they went to the same email address, and I was like, shouldn't it be one-to-one email address and one to
Yeah,
the
They
other?
should be
And-
separated.
I mean, ours are actually so the diversity monitoring is an online form that's anonymous now.
Well, it should be. I mean, so what I think should happen is when you apply for a job, you go on the website, it says, here's your number 19498.
Yeah.
And then you take that number and then you put that on the diversity monitoring form. So your name's
because
not on there.
that's then identifiable. And you don't
Yes.
want it to be
Yeah, see, 'cause-
identifiable.
No, it's not as
because you're
identifiable as
monitoring.
your name,
No, but
especially if you're
I've
you're all
always-
over the internet like a rash.
Because when it comes to the racial block thing, I'm like sitting there. It will always go like, black African, black West Indian, black.
Hey, at
other,
least you've
and
got something that suits you.
No, because I'm none of the above.
Have you not? But there's usually mixed.
Yeah, but I'm like none of the above, because it's got that. All of these things have nothing to do with who I am.
I think there should always be a self-descriptor form, an other, and you can put your own in.
Blank
But
box,
hey, there's
Jedi.
usually not even a
Jedi
white
code.
European. Most Europeans have to tick white other,
It should be good they could.
as opposed to Scottish, English, Welsh.
Yeah, but I don't even have that option. Like it's not like mixed race British, mixed race Welsh, mixed race. Not that they literally just
I
chuck it
would
up in such
rather-
a brutal way.
I would rather tick a box that said Scouser.
Oh,
Given the
yeah.
choice.
Where's my
Yeah.
Yorkshireman box?
I
Yeah.
used to tick
But-
other and put in the
I like
box
that- I like that,
European
Graham.
with a
Never
drop
heard
of
ya.
Native American. That was before I had my DNA test and discovered that my DNA absolutely betrayed all I ever knew about my family history. But that's a whole
Oh
different
no! Tell us where you from. Where you really from?
Yeah,
Where you
Oh,
really from?
It's super
Where you really
embarrassing.
from?
It's super, so I
Answer
grew
my
up
question.
with-
Where are you really from?
I grew up with family tales of my maternal great grandmother, Black Laura, who came from who was
Who was
Indian.
actually black?
We were told she was Indian, and that's where we get the dark eyes from. And I grew up thinking she was Indian. And I think that was something my grandmother said during the Nazi period, because of language. Indians are actually Aryan. So that was a safe thing to do in Nazi Germany.
Weirdly.
As I grew older, and then my mum reconnected with some cousin or other, we discovered that actually she was she was American Indian near the Gulf of Mexico. So I heard Gulf of Mexico. I went, oh, Yucatan, Maya. I'm a Maya. Yay, really cool. And then we found out, no, northern edge of the Gulf of Mexico. So then it gets really difficult because, let's face it, the settlers did a really good job of making sure there are no records and no traces of any of the tribes. So, I had no chance to even find out what people she would have belonged to. So the only chance is a DNA test. So a couple of years ago, I finally did a DNA test.
And now you're on record.
Guess how many % Native American I've got?
0.
0, exactly. I was utterly disappointed, but it gets worse. So I'm a proud Bavarian, right? My mum's side's Bavarian. I grew up in Bavaria. My dad's side's Saxon. Guess how much Saxon or Bavarian there is?
None.
Bingo! 0. Now, as a Bavarian, I look down my nose at the
Bavarian.
It's okay, dear. It's okay. You're still Scottish. And we're still culturally Bavarian. Kids killing.
Yeah.
I don't like the beer either, so you're okay.
Tell them
Yeah,
what
well,
they
we're
need
not
to
Bavarian
hear.
either.
So anyway, I look down my nose at North Germans. You know, I refer to anything north of the Danube as a fish head.
Wow.
I'm
pretty sure that's
78% North German.
78% fish head.
I'm like, oh my God, this is.
Are you a salmon?
Pardon?
Are you a salmon?
She's a fish head. 78% fish head. You've just told everyone, Cozy. Don't say shh now. It's too late.
Or a rainbow trout.
Yeah.
You let the cat out the bag.
I know.
You've let the herring out of the can.
Yes. The herring is out of the
Oh no.
It sounds like fun, though. I would like to explore my DNA ancestry.
Do it. It's
I
and I managed to connect with my
can you have a
third
guess?
cousin.
Did they do a thing where you can sort of guess before you do it? And I can say, well, I think I'm 30% Welsh and
No, but you can do that for yourself, can't you? And then see what comes back. But yeah, I found my third cousin, and she's in New York. One of her sons is in Germany, rediscovering their German roots, and I think her brother is in Hawaii. So I've got cousins in Hawaii.
So I think them ancestry things are a fucking scam. I think they're like the evolution of cookies.
What's the scam?
The ancestry things.
Yeah.
I think they're like just like an extreme version of cookies.
Give like Chinese
give us your
cookies.
blood.
Yeah, we're all related to Richard III.
Little do we know we've actually been, contributing to the vampire population all this time. That's what it was.
Thank you.
Someone's
seeing sense.
There was an accidental incest story on the BBC website this week, which I didn't actually read. I just saw the headline of it. I thought, I'm not reading that because they took a DNA test and it turned out they were estranged brother and sister or something like that.
Yeah, there was a porn story about that as well.
What? Wayne, step away from the porn.
No. It was there's
Bro, I don't know if I want to know this.
Anyway, on that bombshell.
No, this is actual journalism. I'm reporting on actual facts.
Oh yeah, we've only got 15 minutes left.
Okay. There
to talk about.
There was a certain website that had a form of porn, which is called Glory Hole.
Okay.
Sounds like my Saturday night.
Oh, Wayne, this is an urban myth. This is an urban myth.
No,
We're not
no.
going to tell it on here because we don't want to get demonetized.
We're not going to get demonetized.
A lady did something with someone and it turned out to be their dad.
No, brother.
Brother. Okay.
Yeah.
Apparently, according to Unquiet Spirits, I'm 90% leprechaun, which is awesome because it means I get to grant wishes. So, Rachel, what's your wish for me to grant?
Oh my goodness! Oh, there's so many.
Just one. You've allowed one, and you can't ask for more wishes.
Trans Prime Minister.
Trans Prime Minister, awesome. Scott, what's your wish?
My wish for what?
Anything. It's your wish. What would your wish be?
Oh my God, the possibilities are endless.
The what?
We'll wait.
What would you like right now?
Right now?
Yeah. Turkey sandwich.
Oh.
It's not a bad shout.
£100.
£100, Scott. There you go. I think we got that in the super chat. I'll send it to you when it comes through. Wayne, what would your wish be? You have one wish.
Have you got a wish?
Conflation.
You want to
of-
say yours?
Conflation of criticism of Israel and anti-Semitism to be
Separated
Yeah.
properly.
Well,
I mean,
That's a good one.
I don't think you need to wish that. I think if you're smart about it, you can easily do that. I've not been accused of anti-Semitism, and I think that what the Israeli government and the army are doing. What is going on,
What the
Cozy?
fuck is going on there?
Why are you talking like Portuguese at me or something? What is
No,
going on?
it's Japanese. Sorry about
Japanese. That was weird. Anyway, yeah, I think that's possible, Wayne. That's so we've had quite possible requests so far. There's been nothing too crazy. So we'll go to what Ollie. Ollie, what's your wish?
Well, let's go crazy then. Yorkshire independence.
Yorkshire independence.
Right, I'm up for that. I'm gonna get a ring of dynamite around Yorkshire.
Oh, but
blow it
I'll
up and
need my
push it out to the North
passport
Sea.
to go to London. Unless...
Well, it's just well, you can go through Manchester. You can go through,
no, because I'd have
you
to
can
go
go
through
through
Yorkshire
the bad
to
side
get
of the Pennines.
No, I'd have to go. I'd have to go through Yorkshire. I'd have to go through Leeds.
Is your manor in
Oh yeah, of course.
Yorkshire?
No, because he's up in
Oh, I
Durham,
have
isn't
to-
he?
I'm up in Durham. I would have to go through Yorkshire, unless I went
Yeah.
on the A66 through Barnard Castle.
So
and that.
just get a boat
And down
round
the
the
M6.
Harwich and get there. You're all
Well,
right.
I can't take the train. that
Anyway,
way,
you've
really.
just renewed your passport. What are you whinging about?
Me? No, I
Yeah.
haven't. Oh shit! That's just reminded me. I do need to renew my passport.
And
It doesn't
And-
run out till November,
and
but
do you know
it's
what? Do you know
10
what,
years
Graham?
after it was
Graham?
issued.
the
Yes.
beauty of it is you're gonna get a blue one, you little fucker.
Oh, please don't rub it in, Wayne. I'm so upset about the fact that I didn't get a new freaking passport when I could have done. Yeah, 13th of February.
Oh, you're fucked.
13th of Feb. I mean, it doesn't run out till November, but it was issued on the 13th of Feb, 2014, and it's 10 years. So I do need to get
Enjoy that
shitty
blue passport.
French printed in
There we go.
Poland, crappy passport. That's crap.
So is that your wish then, Graham, to have that would be your wish?
I wish that I could go back in time so I could get myself a passport, the last of the British passports when we were still part of the EU, that had beautiful designs on every page. They had architecture and monuments from different artists and architects, places around the UK. Like, so much time and effort have been put into the design of the British passport. And then the new one that is a French company and printed in Poland is shite. It goes back to the 1990s when we just had a rose in the middle of the page, and every page is the fucking same, and it's shite, and it really, really enrages me. So that's my wish. I want a British passport from just before the last issue, before we left the.
Scott, I really need to quickly interject. Scott, you look like fucking Pennywise with your backlight. You look like you.
The backlight is it's red for Labour.
Yeah, but it looks like your hair is coming out like that.
We weren't really. With our one wish. We really could have gone big. We could have said invisible assassin. I.e., you can have invisibility. Then you can go around,
but only when you're assassinating people.
Putin, Zump. You can just go around bumping people off, not dropping any DNA, invisible, go in, in and out. You could just rebalance the world in 48 hours just by bumping off 8 or 9 key individuals. Invisibility, that's where
That's not a bad
color of a passport, 100 quid.
I think this world could do without Putin and Trump. So I reckon two people you could take out would change everything.
Do you remember the very first Iron Man movie?
Yes.
Where he turns up and he's like,
Figure out when everything went to shit.
he targets everyone. Do that to the IDF. Oh,
My kid reckons we need a time machine.
Right.
time
No,
machine.
think about it. Figure out when everything went to shit. Go back in time. Fix it.
Yeah. Get the TARDIS.
Yeah, look at
That would
Marty
be my wish.
McFly.
Actually, that would be my wish.
2015. 2015, we need to run into that cafe and stop Ed Miliband from eating that bacon sandwich.
Yeah.
That's it.
Yeah.
We need to make a
Do
movie
you
about
think that was the turning point?
Oh, yeah.
All we need, the
Gordon
the
Brown's
plane,
turning
the
his mic off.
Cessna, to crash just that little bit harder for Nigel Farage.
It would be if just before David Cameron goes into the Houses of Parliament and says, "We're going to have a referendum."
Or
Just
Gordon
kinda-
Brown.
A simple in-out referendum. That's what he called
Yeah.
it. Because it's going to be really simple.
Yeah.
But
Just have him right there just before that happens, and it would never have happened.
But do you also remember the stipulation that Farage put in front of that referendum?
If it's a failure, he would leave.
No. If it's
Not that one.
more, if it's less than 56%,
Yeah.
then it doesn't count.
48. He said if it's 48-52, there's a lot more work to do. Basically, that's what he said.
Yeah.
And as soon as it went his way,
yeah, he's like, "Oh, it's done now.
no,
It's the
that's
overwhelming will of the people."
that's what we want.
Bastard.
Speaking of,
yeah.
Speaking of Cameron, did you see that him and Marjorie Taylor Greene got into a fight?
Oh yes, she can kiss his ass.
She is such a
Ollie, you can make that your story. So you talk about that. So we've got about 8 minutes left before we have to wrap up.
Do you
So
remember?
I just want to go around everyone and ask you what your story
Graham,
of the week
I need
was.
to get this out quickly.
Wayne, do you want to go first?
No, do you remember Celebrity Deathmatch?
What, the cartoon plasticine thing?
Yeah.
Yes, that was brilliant. I love that.
I remember it.
Marjorie Taylor Greene, David Cameron. Let's go.
That would be awesome. That'd be awesome. Okay,
He'd bring
so
a fucking machine gun. Oh, sorry, pardon my language.
Scott, calm down. What? Okay, stories of the week. Who wants to go first? Anyone has a story of the week?
Shall I go first while everyone's thinking then? Because we
Go
know what
for
mine
Ollie.
will be.
Everyone else have a think about their story for the week.
So mine's Marjorie Taylor Greene versus David Cameron. This all comes about because, as you know, the Ukraine aid bill at the moment passed in the Senate, currently in the House. Questions about whether it will or not will pass, or whether even make it to the floor at the moment, because they're still playing magical games about stopping it. And David Cameron decided in his wisdom that he would write an op-ed piece in the Hill to try and convince the Republicans you will pass this bill because it is the good, and if not, then you are like the appeasers, appeasing Hitler. And if you if you don't do this, you're really bad. You're appeasers. Marjorie Taylor Greene comes out and goes, "How dare David Cameron do this? He's called all Republicans Hitler. How dare he do this?" And then this resulted after this with David Cameron saying, "Well, I'm not here to upset our American friends," and then she went, "Well, he can kiss my ass," and it was
wow.
But she said she didn't like the name calling, petty name calling, but so he could kiss her. It's like she tried to be moralistic in one sentence. She contradicted herself completely.
Yeah. She said that he needs to be more respectful and stop the name calling. And he can kiss my ass and then slam the door.
I mean, that is the Republican Party in America summed up in a sentence.
So the band of harp jays there says a special relationship, ! In brackets. And I just want to talk about this for a moment because Professor Tom Brooks, who's Professor of Law and Politics here in Durham, we've done a few podcasts together over the years, and he's a Labour Party advisor, and he's American, and he's a professor now, but he did all of his study in America and then came over here. And he told me that in all of his years of studying politics, international politics, American politics, all of the qualifications he got, he never heard the expression, the special relationship, as pertaining to the UK until he moved to the UK.
Mm-hmm.
That's not me too.
Yeah.
Me too. It's not.
Yeah, I can imagine that's not something that's something that's said in the UK but not said abroad.
Yeah, that's right. It's not said. I mean, the UK are considered to be allies and close allies with America, but
I guess Americans speak about the Anglosphere. They speak about Anglo-American, or they make it more about language.
Yeah,
they're definitely close allies, no doubt about that. But I've never heard the term special relationship until I moved here. That's just a sort of political sort of buzzword.
To both of your points, right? How much of European news do we get here in the UK? Fucking
Sweet FA.
none.
None.
Not unless you're
Not at all.
European.
We hear about all this shit that's going on in America.
Mhm.
Because
Yeah.
like the podcast that I do, apart from this, I never knew that there were fascists in Swedish politics.
Yeah.
Italy, Meloni. It's literally in her party's
Italy.
in her
Yeah.
party's
France.
manifesto.
But we're too interested in like who slapped
Spain.
anyone around the face.
They're everywhere in every European country now. They're
Yeah.
popping up.
We've got some breaking news, people. A Reform candidate on Newsnight has just called the Tories socialists.
How far
That just
right
happened.
do that?
That just happened on Newsnight.
Well, the
Oh my
overton
god, someone's
window
going to clip
just
that up.
shifted again.
That's going to become a meme. Okay, Rachel, what was your story of the week?
Oh
What
my
was
god,
your
there's so many. Obviously, Trump's big payout tonight. The
payouts?
well, you know, the
Yeah.
money he's got to pay his
Yeah, the
fine.
money's-
bill.
$355 million.
That was good. I mean, it's hard to pick because then he tried to shift his court case, and the judge said no in about 10 seconds. Then he tried to get the judge removed, and then that failed. So all that stuff's been really good. I've been watching a lot of that. The thing I really like this week, I mean, apart from Ollie sending that horrible Liz Truss thing out where she's obsessed with sending to her constituents about trans kids, that was just pretty awful. The thing I thought was really good and really touched my heart was a Polish television presenter apologizing to the LGBT community. That I posted it in the Labour Socials thing. That was amazing. You would never see they'll never see the BBC do that. And you know that now trans voices are completely blocked off the BBC. But that presenter said, I think something needs to be said. Things have been said, and we should apologize for what's happened over the last 8 or 9 years, whatever it was.
Well, Poland became very anti-LGBT.
Oh my god, yeah.
I'd love to get
Oh.
someone. I'd love to find like the version of like me or Graham and get them to come over to tell them like what's going on in Poland right now.
Yeah,
because there's amazing stories like just like that you said, and then there's a whole scandal about 2 people who went running to the president to try and get a pardon.
Yeah.
Just recently, and they failed to try and get a pardon because they'd set up this massive scandal to try and get rid of this political opponent that they had a couple of years ago. So there's all kinds of stuff kicking off in Poland at the moment.
Yeah.
Is Donald Tusk going to clear out the stables? Is that what he's going to be doing?
Yeah, that's what he's doing at the moment. It's going to be a big job.
Yeah,
it's a big job, but he's starting it.
How long's the president got? He's got another year or so, hasn't he? Until they can get him out of the way. Is that right? Yeah.
But Tusk has got the biggest group in Parliament, doesn't he?
Anyway, that was it. I just thought that was amazing. You were just imagining the BBC doing that.
That was lovely. Yeah,
Step in the right direction.
Happening now.
Definitely.
So Scott, wake up.
Hi.
What's your story of the week? What's about you?
I think if I talk about something that angered me, which is kind of the opposite, was was today listening to a politician on a podcast try to describe to the audio professional broadcaster that clipping and editing were 2 different things.
Oh yes,
I know exactly.
This is the
incredible.
MP for Durham North or something, isn't he? He's quite close to where I am, Northeast Durham.
Yeah. So basically, the Conservatives took this this misspeak of Sadiq Khan, who said, we're anti-racist, we're anti-Semitic. But he said, that's not what I mean. We are against anti-Semitism. But that apology came after he said that. So what the conservative, conservative Twitter, the official Twitter for the Conservative Party, literally put out a clip of Sadiq Khan saying this without the correction. So it just makes him sound like he's saying that he is anti-Semitic, and that the Labour Party are anti-Semitic. And people pointed out, well, no, he corrected himself. And so a minister goes on to the
This
Times.
is Richard Holden, who is the
Yes,
Conservative
yes,
MP for
yes.
Northwest Durham, not Northeast, sorry,
Yeah.
Northwest Durham.
So he goes on to the Times sort of radio show podcast thing, and the guy actually says to him, "Well, he actually corrected himself, and you guys have like, you know, you doctored it, you clipped it, you've edited it." He goes, "No, we clipped it." He goes, "But you have edited it." He goes, "No, we clipped it." It's like they're one of the same. He goes, "No, they're not."
Yeah. It's semantic
And
bullshit.
the guy was like, "I am an audio professional." And the politician would not back down. You know, he would not back down. He was telling this guy what his job was. And I just thought that was just the peak gaslighting by a Tory politician.
Perfect.
That is. I mean, James O'Brien ran with that this morning, didn't he? Where he took the clip of Rishi Sunak confessing to be a coke addict.
Right, exactly the same.
Completely out of context.
Yep.
He's addicted to coke, and apparently the best coke comes from Mexico.
Yep.
Anyway, this is what our Prime Minister actually said. So, Cozy, can we? What was your sort of news of the week? What was your?
I've got a really sweet one because there is hope for the next generation. Yeah, there is. Apparently,
about ours. No, go on. Yeah.
Apparently,
we're fucked.
There's a phrase called "doing a Brexit" or a Brexit tackle,
I heard about that.
where kids on the football
I'm about to do a
pitch.
Brexit in a minute.
Yeah, you take out a player, but you don't get the ball, and that's doing a Brexit.
Yeah. The football thing the kids are saying.
So you basically
no.
do you get do the other team get a free kick or a penalty, or is it just
No.
I think
No.
so, because you're just taking a player out, but you're not getting any advantage out of it because you're screwing up, shooting yourself in the foot. And I've got one other thing for you. Hang on.
Oh,
Da, 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 da.
You should remember this.
Hey, I've got one of those t-shirts.
Whoa,
Hey.
my eyes, they burn.
Do you know what? Can you see the date?
Yeah, 16. Oh God, it was, wasn't it?
It's 5 years ago today.
Yeah, 5 years ago.
Can you believe
Bloody
it?
hell. I got one of those t-shirts.
Yeah.
I've got a Liverpool for Europe t-shirt, and okay, so I've told the story before about the day that we actually left the EU and they had the big party in Parliament Square, and at 11 o'clock, because not 12 o'clock because it was on European time, at 11 o'clock, that was the big celebration of us leaving the EU, and all these gammon. Me and my mate from the EU flag mafia went and stink bombed the whole thing with Swedish strumming, pickled, fermented herring, I think it is.
Oh, that's supposed to be that really horribly.
Oh, it's
smelling-
rank. It's absolutely rank. It's one of the worst smells possible. I think it's illegal to open these cans in like a confined area. Literally illegal. I think it's illegal to take them on planes as well. Anyway, we have a courier driver, a van driver who we're friends with, who goes around Europe and can get us stuff. So he brought it over. So we did that. And then I went to a party of a guy who had just been to every country in the world. And it was really cool. He's a Canadian guy, lovely bloke called Mike. And we were at this backpackers in London, and we were all getting a little bit drunk. And then he said, "Can I sign your T-shirt?" And I was wearing my Liverpool for Europe T-shirt, representing, even though I was in Parliament Square an hour earlier. And I said, "Yeah, sure, sign my T-shirt." So he had his black marker pen, and he signed my T-shirt. It wasn't until I literally got home to Durham that I realised that he actually drew a big cock on the back of my T-shirt in permanent marker, which I can no longer get rid of. So I can't get rid of it anymore. Sorry, I can't wear that T-shirt.
I'm sure we can get you another Liverpool for Europe T-shirt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I have a story from Wednesday, just to remind you that there is no hope left for the planet.
Oh no.
I was in history lesson on Wednesday, and we were talking about Hitler and the rise of Hitler and Nazis. And by the way, I'm in year 9, so it's very basic history. And I got home just to see online another fully grown adult was denying that Hitler was a bad person.
Oh, so
Who
a
was
Nazi
that?
then?
Yes, yeah. Well,
Who was it? Was it?
Was
We
it
know who
Was
it
it
was.
Jacob Rees-Mogg?
Can you
Was it
read?
just TikTok?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Trump?
TikTok. But this is it, and information spreads through TikTok really, really well.
Mm.
It
was just
does.
You know what
misunderstood.
I was doing on the 31st of January at 11 o'clock? I was on BBC Radio Merseyside.
Where? Yeah.
I had been
Merseyside?
interviewed that morning by Snelly in the morning that I used to listen to.
Yeah.
And he was obviously quite Remainy. He was really very sympathetic and so on.
Yeah,
And then
he
they
was.
said, oh, can we call you again later on? And I went, yeah, you can call me anytime. Now, I had decided that I was not going to be crying into my pint. I went out with a group of friends and there was, an Italian Brazilian, my Scottish husband, my kids, my Greek friend with her British husband, and so on. So there was a big group of us, and we all went to a Greek restaurant, drank lots of red wine, and celebrated every last minute of EU membership. So BBC called me again, and this time it was another radio presenter whose name I've forgotten, and she was really quite leavy. And she thought we were all going to be sitting there and crying and upset and so on. And I just went into run mode. I was like, we're not upset. We're happy because I'm still an EU citizen. I still have my freedom of movement, but I'm looking at my kid's 12-year-old British friend who has no other citizenship to call her own. And I feel really, really sorry for her because you've stolen her
filled our
futures.
rivers
And
with
I just
shit
went
and then
into full
closed all
rant
the
mode
exits.
until 11.
Oh, brilliant.
I took the time. I just did it.
I've been on full-on rant mode for many years now, Cozy.
Yeah, haven't we both?
Really, Graham? Really?
Yes, Wayne, yes. But
We hadn't noticed.
What were you doing when Brexit happened? That's going to be a question that's going to be asked through the years, isn't it? Oh, I was asleep. I had an early night. Wayne, finally, what was your story of the week? What was the one that you
Elon Levy
chimed with
versus Krishnan and Guru Murphy?
Which one?
Oh my God.
Oh, is this the Israeli spokes guy?
Yeah.
Oh God.
Yeah.
I think I actually shouted at the telly.
Well, I
Which I
don't
don't
have
do
a
much
telly.
of these days because I don't tend to
You know,
stay
you know
on
what
it
I'm
long
talking
enough.
about. He wears a dapper suit and he talks absolute cod shit.
Oh yeah.
Absolute cod
bollocks.
shit.
So this
Right.
is Israeli government spokesman.
Yeah. Elion, what's his name again? Elion
Levy.
Elon Levy. Yeah.
Yes.
So he said, we told the Palestinians to go to the south. And then when we get rid of all the Hamas in the south, they can go north. But we're going to bomb the south anyway. And then when they go north, we're going to bomb the north anyway. And
There's
Krishnan
nothing but rubble now.
Krishnan was basically saying they've got nowhere to go then. He's like, no, I'm not really saying that. He's like, well, you are.
Yeah, you are.
And it was just like a complete clusterfuck. And he was just sitting there like just.
Oh, yeah, he was like, oh, you should help us move these people. Like, just stop bombing them.
Yeah,
Yes.
and he was saying like the international fucking community should help us.
That was it.
Yeah.
I think
As
you're doing all right, guys.
As in you want them to go to Egypt.
Help, I think they're doing
Should
quite
help
well.
them stop bombing.
They're like 10-0 up, and they're going, "Can we have a hand here, guys?" Like, no.
Yeah.
In fact, stop what you're doing.
And the thing is, Egypt are going, no, we're not letting you in like this. No, we're not letting you in.
Well, why is Egypt not
because-
letting them in?
Because they're trying to prove a point. They're trying to prove a
they
point.
won't be allowed back into Gaza if they go into Egypt.
No, do you know why?
They're
'Cause
proving
Egyptians
a
don't
point
like
that
Palestinians.
they're proving a point that the Israeli regime right now, right, and let me be very specific on that. Israeli regime right now. I'm not talking about any race, religion, or anything other than
The
that.
government.
The government.
Yes.
Of Israel
yes,
are a bunch of fucks.
are doing a bad thing.
Yes. Yeah.
Right.
They are. They are quite transparently doing a very bad thing at the moment. Cozy,
Exactly.
why do you think that is Egypt's not allowing it?
Because Israel
Palestinian
won't let them.
refugees?
Because Egypt owes Israel a ton of money.
Oh,
Yep.
I thought that it was that Egypt didn't want people coming in either because they're going to
Mm-hmm.
struggle with taking in 2 million refugees from Gaza.
There was
the-
or is a suggestion,
reasons.
and I
They're
think it's in
different reasons.
Israeli circles, of resettling all the Palestinians in the Sinai in Egypt,
Right.
within Egypt.
Let's
but in the
be
Sinai.
real. Let's be real. The people that are displaced from North Gaza are 2 million plus. Now, it would be lovely for Egypt to say, yeah, we'd absorb them. But what they're actually doing by doing that is kind of advocating for the Israeli bombardment of Gaza.
Well,
So
yeah.
how,
I mean,
how
if
can they do that?
If Egypt can give some aid to the Palestinians, i.e.,
But
get
they
them out
are
of
now.
Gaza.
They're
But
being blockaded.
my
They're being
point I was
blockaded.
making, Wayne, is that if
Sorry.
they do leave Gaza, they're never coming back. Israel's just going to annex all of Gaza.
Yeah.
That is Netanyahu's plan. It's been his plan since the start of this. It's been really obvious. He does not want a two-state solution. He wants a one-state solution. And all these politicians who are turning around now and saying, oh, can we go back to the two-state solution? Right? Fuck off. You didn't give Palestine international recognition in the last 20, 30, 40 years when you could have given Palestine international recognition, which would have allowed us to intervene in situations like this. But we chose to say, no, Palestine isn't a real country. Other countries did. Over 100 countries around the world regard Palestine as a real country. We don't. And so it's a bit late now for David Cameron, old pighead fucker, to turn up and say, oh, that we should go for this two-state solution again. It's like, we helped set this whole thing up. You can blame it all on the Israeli government, but we
no.
Absolutely,
we were the biggest protagonists
weapons.
of it. Absolutely, the biggest protagonists of it, and it fucking winds me up when we have like situations like Northern Ireland. Like we annexed a fucking island. I said, yeah, that's our bit. Shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
It's bollocks. It's absolute
But again,
bollocks.
Going back to Empire Land and Empire World, this is the effect the British had on the rest of the world. We drew a lot of those lines on those maps, and we split up tribes. We put two tribes who hate each other together. We split up religions. We put two religions who hate each other together. That's why you've got ongoing conflicts in Cote d'Ivoire, in Nigeria, in other countries where the north is Muslim and the south is Christian. How do you think they're going to get along?
Every single colonial state or republic or whatever you want to call it that has had any influence by the British or Americans to an extent normally has a right angle in it. You look at all of the like Iraq and then go over to America, Texas. There's always a right angle because we couldn't be bothered. It's just cut it off. It's just that little bit there. It's fine.
That's coming back to bite us. Oh, no, not coming back to bite us.
Massively.
It's coming back to bite the Americans because we drew artificial boundaries that were not delineated by naturally occurring rivers and also mountain ranges, like what happened in Europe and other places where it was allowed to grow organically over the years. And we've got a huge problem now in America with water, because you have different states with different water laws. And if they have a river going through their state, and they don't give a shit who's down the river, because they're gonna be like, well, we need
to
this
your
river
point,
for
Graham.
our
To your point,
agriculture.
Graham. If you look at the
Oh, Vendetta! That is not a great group of emojis you've just put in there.
if
Pigs
you
and
look at the
eggplants.
the lineage of counties in the UK alone, it's basically following the water table, like you say.
Yeah.
Right, but you go to all these other places where we conquered and just kind of did our bit.
Drew a line.
It's
with a
literally
ruler.
just right angles.
Yeah.
It stops here and that's it.
Yeah. Which
It's
is
ridiculous and so
Well,
simplistic.
it speaks to a very important thing that we sometimes forget, which is like we live in the world. And we can try and impose right angles on the planet, but the right angle's always going to kick back against it because the planet is just like,
Yeah,
you know,
I didn't ask for that.
there were no right angles in nature. I mean, nature abhors a right angle. Maybe you've got some crystalline structures that have some nice
It's so true.
170
It's
degrees
so
angles, but not
true.
90 degrees. Fuck that. It's the
Yeah.
worst angle ever.
Star Wars 4, The Return of the Right Angles.
Oh yeah, exactly. But yeah, we need to start looking at how we can live in nature more. Live in nature, that's a bad way of putting it. Live more in harmony with nature. I know it sounds really woolly and hippie and bullshit, but it's a reality.
That's
that
true.
Could you
we
hold
need
a
to look
Coke? Hold a Coke and say that.
Hold a
But the
Coca-Cola.
thing is, it's not the planet we're killing. It's our habitat.
It's us.
Yeah.
It's
We
us.
It's
are
us.
not going to survive what we are doing to our habitat. The planet will survive. The planet just has a nasty infection of humans that it will get rid of at some point
It will
anyway.
burn out the infection by the looks of things.
I might be a bit racialist with this by asking Scott this question. What is that particular area where there's like 5 states that come together and there's like a little stone?
Oh.
No, it's 4
Quebec.
states.
4 states.
It's 4 states, isn't it?
Is it 4
If I'm not
states?
New
mistaken,
Mexico.
it is Nevada, New Mexico, Arizona, and Colorado, I think.
Yeah,
You can
that's right.
straddle all 4 states in one specific place.
yeah, and
But
who
there's
did
nothing
that?
there, is there? It's just a line on a map, wasn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
So
Yeah,
you've got sort of places that were decided where things were going to be before maps existed, really. You know, to an actual technical degree.
I think a lot
So
of
it was
those
like-
out in the West were based on still Indian reservation and Native American, excuse me, sort of reservation.
5 corners.
Yeah, a lot of the a lot of states are based on literal reservations of certain tribes, and in fact, I think some of them are named after them.
Facts are saying Colorado, Utah, New Mexico, and Arizona are the 4 states that meet with the place where you can
That's
stand
what
in
I
between.
said. Yeah, that's what I said. Yeah. So.
Can we? Oh, sorry.
So like
Denver.
Utah, where are you going to get a word like Utah from? I think that was part of a Native American tribe name of some description or territory that they had. So that's, I think, how the states have been kind of drawn up early on.
I was gonna try and show off by showing all the state capitals, but I got stuck on Utah. Salt Lake City.
Yeah.
Is it?
Yes.
New Mexico would be
Albuquerque?
no, it's no, that's Arkansas.
I'm having flashbacks of an episode of Friends right
I
now.
think that is Albuquerque, actually.
No, it's not Albuquerque. It's definitely not. It's Des Moines. No.
Oh, that's the capital of Missouri.
Arizona's definitely Phoenix, Arizona. New Mexico. Oh, what is it?
Before we
Baton
go,
Rouge. No. Oh, shit.
before we go,
Santa
Scott,
Fe?
what do you know?
Yes.
about
Yes.
It is
Yes.
Santa Fe.
Cozy's got it. It was Santa Fe.
Yeah, Google's got it.
Oh, did you Google it? That's not fair.
That's
Oh.
cheating.
I was just
That's
about to do
not
this
fair.
too,
Right,
No,
I
no,
put a
no,
link
don't
in the
count,
chat
don't
for
count,
you to
don't
look
count.
at about the
Don't
Rafa
count.
border crossing and how Israel actually controls it.
Yeah. Well, they do. I mean, I don't disagree with that, by the way.
As an aficionado of Mystery Hour, that's not allowed.
Yeah, you're not allowed to Google it.
Mhm.
Sorry.
Yeah, when Wayne remembers to bring it.
So, Cozy,
Right, kids, I'm gonna have to go.
we're all gonna go. We're shutting down now.
Right.
I was trying to get away about 20 minutes ago, but we're gonna do it now.
Before we go,
Cozy, are you in Liverpool next weekend?
What?
Yes.
Okay, cool. I'll see you there. It's my
Are
birthday.
you coming to visit?
I'm coming to
Let's
visit.
get
I'm coming to
together.
visit. Let's go out for some food in Liverpool, and then have a few drinks.
I'm going to go absolutely mental. Georgia Guidestones. Scott, go.
The
The
Georgia Guides.
Guidestones.
Were they the ones that were destroyed?
No, they're still there. Apparently.
Oh, okay.
I have no idea what that is.
Really? Okay.
Yeah, no, never heard of it in my life.
No, I haven't heard of it either.
I was educated in America.
Chat. Can you please educate everyone on the?
No,
Georgia
we gotta go.
Guidestones?
Come on, we gotta leave.
I'm gonna
No,
Google it.
before you
I'm
go,
Googling
no.
it now. Okay.
This is your homework.
Cozy's gotta get
This is your homework.
Gotta
I've
get
got
to
a
bed.
stream I'm going to do it tomorrow morning.
Yeah, I've got to quickly do a daily fail. So thank you so much to everyone for joining us, and have an awesome weekend. I hope you're buoyed by the fact that there's been a terrible disaster for the Tory party and for Donald Trump in quick succession. So keep up the good work. Thanks for the chats. Thanks for the super chats. I really appreciate it. And until next time, I'll say hello, good evening, welcome, and goodbye. Wave, everyone. Woo!
Bye.
Cheers, Wayne. Tits.